With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, and an app that lets you bank anytime, anywhere, choosing Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
All right, I've got an approval ratings poll out there. Just about a few hundred votes. It just happened in the last 20 minutes or so. Would you like if Jaguars ended up hiring Eric Bieniemy? 77% in favor as of right now. I did this with Urban Meyer over the weekend, about 1,200 votes on that. So it's a pretty good sample size, pretty good. And it was 55-45. So I'm going to continue to do it. Raheem Morris scheduled reportedly to interview today with the Jacksonville Jaguars, so we'll ask about him. Robert Saleh up next. Arthur Smith, they've asked for permission. So we'll float some of those out there. I'm interested to see what the approval rating would be, what the buzz would be, the excitement level would be. We know which guy would be more polarizing. That would certainly be Urban Meyer. Hey, everybody, welcome in on a Thursday on what's been an exciting week here in Jacksonville. Happy New Year kind of week, and the year is off to a fantastic start in terms of buzz around the Jacksonville Jaguars, and plenty to talk about on the sports scene. Brett Martineau here at home once again, probably finished the week here at home. And then Austin Lane back in the Action Sports Jack studios, probably well rested this morning, didn't have to do double duty.
Yeah.
Who's never well rested? Who's, what time are you waking up these days? You had that little stint where you're waking up at like 4:30 in the morning, going to the gym. Is that over?
No, I still got to do our morning sports center, so I'm up at 4.
4 a.m. to do the morning sports center.
That's
and then hopefully
hardcore.
go to the gym, if not go back to sleep.
That's hardcore, man. So, as in, you have to drive here to do the morning sports center, or you can do it from home?
No, I can do them from the house.
The confines of your own bed. Nothing beats it.
We got to give, by the way, we should give a shout out because it's extra duty for Coos and Tank and Aaron. Who else helps us out? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Olivia used to. She gave up on it.
She was over
COVID. COVID hit, and she's like, I'm out.
Yep.
So, in fairness to her, everything got thrown up and down. But we appreciate those guys chipping in on these Sports Center updates. It's not a cast of thousands here at ESPN 690, but we kind of pretend like it is, don't we? We got to deliver it like it is. What's up, Austin Lane? You skateboarding today?
Yeah, I skateboarded a little bit. I took my progression to the next level. Now we're starting to bring back the kickflip again from my youth. So tried to kickflip a couple times. Ended up credit carding myself once. If you don't know what that is, go ahead and Google it, but it's not good. So that didn't feel too good on my body today. But we're getting there. I didn't land any kickflips. I only skateboarded for about 15 minutes today. I didn't really have that much time. But I'm trying because that's just the way my mind works. When I apply myself to something, I'm almost obsessive to the point where it could drive my family crazy. So we'll see how this whole new venture works out for everybody.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that with Pac-Man right now. Miss Pac-Man.
Exactly. So you can definitely relate.
I can relate.
How's Pac-Man going? Have you beat it yet?
Nope, haven't beat it. 78,000 is my. I don't think in the last 24 hours I've beaten my high score, so I'm a little upset, frustrated, and haven't played it all today, which is unfortunate. So there's that. Raheem Morris scheduled for an interview reportedly with the Jaguars today. This is a guy that did a nice job with Atlanta, in the interim once Dan Quinn got fired. And, he's 44 years old, but he's been all over the place, from the college game to obviously with Tampa on and off, back to the college game, and then with the Atlanta Falcons for quite some time. What do you know? What do you think? I feel like if there's one guy there's not a lot of buzz about in this process of names that we've heard that will interview, Raheem Morris is one. No disrespect to him. I just don't feel like he's a needle mover one way or another. There just doesn't seem like there's a lot of heavy opinion, which could also be a good thing, about Raheem Morris.
No, without a doubt. And maybe he should get a little more credit, right? Because obviously in Atlanta, it was Quinn, right?
Dan Quinn.
Yeah, Dan Quinn. Yeah, so Dan Quinn gets let go. And The whole thing in Atlanta was the fact that, listen, like there is expectation they're going to be good this year. And they lost a bunch of nail-biters, probably games that they should have won, and that can be detrimental to a team. Like maybe one of those games, okay, you can rebound, but it seemed like they had 3 or 4 of those games. So obviously Quinn gets let go, Morris takes over, and sometimes we see in football, especially at the pro level, where when an old gets let go and the intern comes in or whatever, you see a spark a little bit, right? And you did see a spark. And to me, you saw that spark on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, the position that Raheem Morris is used to coaching. So I thought his defense a lot. I love the fact that the whole defensive coordinator kind of guys in terms of culture building saw an Atlanta Falcons team play a lot better. As a head coach right now, I'm not sure if he's a very high commodity, but he's definitely a name that when I was starting to look at like defensive coordinators for possibilities for the Jacksonville Jaguars, he's definitely a name that is on the top of my list for defensive coordinator.
Interesting. And by the way, your guy that you mentioned a few weeks back, Aaron Glenn, is going to get a try with the New York Jets, as the Jets are really looks like they're thoroughly going through this process. I feel like there's a lot of linkage to names, and some of the names that aren't everywhere with the New York Jets. I think the latest report is Marvin Lewis has interviewed with New York Jets. So Aaron Glenn's a guy that you've looked at in the past as really good on defense, up-and-coming star, and maybe the Jets realize that too. Of course, he played New York back in the day, right?
No, he absolutely did. So he's got ties there, but I'm a huge fan of Aaron Glenn. You know, I've talked about him before. He's a defensive backs coach out of New Orleans, but the players there speak very highly of him. He's known for kind of like, you know, he's a little bit of I mean, if you look at his age, he's 48 years old, but he kind of brings that energy and that youth to it. But he's definitely kind of like that old school mentality. It reminds me a lot of what Maurice Jones-Drew was saying yesterday, where, you know, if a guy was late, then the whole team's running and things like that. I feel like Aaron Glenn brings that kind of mentality. So he's got that newer school feel, but he's got that old school defensive mentality, which I can't get enough of. And the fact that he is very great at developing players, whatever position that he coaches, he's done that, and people swear by that as well. I actually spent some time in Jacksonville back in 2007 here in Aaron Glenn. So I know last year the New York Giants were requesting him for a head coaching position. But like I said, he's the defensive backs coach this year. I wouldn't be surprised if he at least gets an upgrade to defensive coordinator. And once again, if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, I definitely consider him a top get at defensive coordinator.
All right, I got to go run and get a Kleenex here. I had a COVID test today, and everything's just around up there.
Oh, yeah.
So while I do that, I want to ask you about Urban Meyer and the quiet nature of Meyer over the last 24 to 36 hours. Does that mean anything to you?
Man, you know, I'm going to be honest here. So I think the synopsis of Urban Meyer was the fact that he is the favorite to go to Jacksonville. And I think when you had teams like the Lions, you know, and other teams making moves, and the fact that, all right, we're gonna interview this guy, we're gonna interview this guy, it seemed like Jacksonville was slow playing things a little bit. And I echoed to this I think probably about, I don't know, I think it was a Monday where I talked about this, where it was a little clear that if you truly have the hot job in the NFL, I mean, who cares about we're getting out, right? Because you're trying to get the top candidates. So, yeah, go ahead and say you're going to interview Urban Meyer, Brian Dabble, or Bieniemy, even though Dabble, I don't think, has been official. Why not say that? So, to me, it was a little peculiar from the fact that the Jaguars were kind of quiet for a little bit about their coaching search. Well, now it's really amped up, and it's kind of ironic that they were quiet when Urban Meyer stuff was going off the shelves. Now the Urban Meyer stuff has been kind of quiet, and now the Jaguars are a lot louder in terms of going after their coach. So I'm not sure if Urban Meyer is the top guy in Jacksonville in terms of, you know, where he ranks on the must-have. You hear like guys like Albert Breer and people reporting that, yes, you know, Urban Meyer, Jacksonville wants him. They definitely are willing to cultivate him, if you will. But at the same time, the fact that we haven't heard from Urban Meyer directly or his camp, and the fact that now we're starting to see the Jaguars pick up a little bit in coaching interviews, I think there's something to be watching there.
Yeah, here's my take on it, okay? I don't think there's a lot here. I think this is more of the process playing itself out. And, you know, I think things got a little bit too crazy if I'm the Jaguars. And again, this is me just putting puzzle pieces together, and that's what I'm doing a lot of, by the way. I find myself, you know, we've been through so many of these coaching searches. There's so many names out there there are GM jobs and head coaching jobs, and obviously 6 head coaching jobs, 7 GM jobs, now 6 because Houston hired Caserio. But it's really a big puzzle piece type thing, and the timeline's very important because you have a lot of competition. What I do wonder is, do you have competition for Urban Meyer at all? So if you go back to last weekend where everything got raised up, and if you start adding up what was said and things that were happening, the Urban Meyer stuff got hot. And at the same time, Doug Marrone still had a job. And at the same time, the Jags didn't even have an open job. And at that same time, they hadn't gone through any of the process, which includes vetting everybody, but also the Rooney Rule, which you have to take into consideration, but vetting everybody, in a candidate pool where I think is pretty deep this year. I think it's pretty darn good. So I think if you go back and look at all that, and then obviously Marrone gets fired and everything, now you got an open job, and Shad Khan talks and says what he's looking for. Well, then you start seeing requests. And Shad Khan said on Monday, hey, we're going to put requests in now to interview folks. Well, you don't formally have to go through other teams to request to interview Urban Meyer, so that can be done at any time during the week without really a lot of fanfare, or it can be done next week, or it doesn't even have to be done for all that matter. You don't have to go tell, I don't think, you don't have to tell any organization at least. You might have to still let the NFL know what you're doing in the process, I would assume. But I think a lot of the word gets out because of the request nature of, hey, we'd like to talk to Arthur Smith. We'd like to talk to Raheem Morris. We'd like to talk to Robert Saleh. We'd like to talk to Eric Bieniemy. So that's how the word – in fact, some coaches will flat out say, yeah, he's going to – I think it was Shanahan who mentioned Saleh was going to interview with X team last week, like during a news conference.
Yeah.
So sometimes that happens. So if you add all that up, well, now the Jags, at least reportedly – Bieniemy yesterday, Raheem Morris today, Saleh on Saturday. And remember, they requested, at least there are reports, they requested for Arthur Smith, and he can't talk until after the first wild card game is in the books. So that can't take place until early next week at the earliest. And so I believe this is still just very quietly playing out, and I don't think this is a charade either. I want to make that perfectly clear. I don't think this is a charade to say, hey, Urban's our top guy. We're just going to go through the motions here. We're going to make sure we interview people. No, I don't think that's true because there's two things at work. One, I think you interview people with full intention of hiring them because what happens when you need that next cycle? That means you did work on them. That's important. But also, in this situation, let's just say Urban's the top guy. I still think there's very much concern on whether he's going to take the job, even if the Jags want him. And so I think they definitely have to have a plan B or plan 1A or whatever you want to call it in this situation. And they also have to be willing to move fast on that because you have competition. The only guy you really don't have a lot of competition for right now is Urban Meyer. So you can kind of let that sit out there for now, knowing that's something you might go back to, and you're waiting to hear from him on what he's going to do for sure. And you can't fully trust that because he could change his mind in the 11th hour, and then you're left at the altar. So I think that's how I read this whole situation right now. And what I get to at the end of the day, Austin, is they're going to let this thing play out. They're going to see what happens. I think they will. I still have this belief that they will wait on Urban Meyer and wait to hear from him. But I would say by next Tuesday, I would think. Tuesday's my day. I think by Tuesday, we might have reports flying everywhere and which way on who the Jaguars are favored to get, offered the job to, might land, or we might even know by Tuesday who the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars are. That's kind of the timeline that I see right now.
Yeah, and that's what Albert Breer was saying, too. Like he said, it could be in the weekend or it could be next week, early next week. I guess here's my question. Everyone's been telling me that this is the job to have. This is the, like, in terms of the draft capital, in terms of the number one pick, like this is the most coveted job right now to coach in the entire NFL. So if that's the case, like if I'm Shad Khan, I'm not worried about keeping things hush-hush. Why? Like you're supposed to have your pick of the litter here because you supposedly have the number one job. So if Urban Meyer truly is indeed that guy and there's not a lot of demand for him apparently, then why wouldn't you meet with him ASAP? Like why wouldn't you get it out of the way? Like, why wouldn't you go after your guy if he truly is your guy? What do you gain by, all right, Urban, well, we'll wait to hear it in a couple weeks or so. Like, do you think Urban Meyer is literally going to take these next couple days to decide if he's going to coach in the NFL? Like, I'm pretty sure he's already got a pretty good idea of what he wants to do. I don't think these next couple days he's going to sleep on it and wake up with an epiphany. Like, I think he knows what he wants to do. So then why is this whole thing being slow played if Urban Meyer is indeed the Jaguars guy?
Well, I think part of it is you have to do the process. You have to have your due diligence. The Rooney Rule does exist, so you can't be overly fast on this. I mean, you really can't. You have to abide by the process of interviews. And again, I firmly believe this isn't just a Rooney Rule thing. I don't want to get that misconstrued. I think that is something you have to do, but I think these are serious candidates. I think Eric Bieniemy is a serious candidate. I don't think that's a Rooney Rule candidate. I think he's a serious candidate. I think Raheem Morris, I have a less of a feel about him as high on the list as he is for the Jags, but maybe they want to get a feel for Raheem Morris, and maybe I just don't have the feel for that. I think Robert Saleh is definitely in the grasp of the Jacksonville Jaguars and high on their list. If they made a board, I think he is high on their list. I think Bieniemy is too, and I think Arthur Smith probably is too. So I don't think this is just token interview stuff. I think this is doing your homework for now, for potentially down the road, for potentially what if, and also the Urban Meyer thing. There really isn't a lot of competition for Austin. Like, the only other team you've heard mentioned for Urban Meyer is the Chargers. And I kind of believe, this is just my personal belief, that might have been thrown out there by his agent just to kind of create, or his camp, just to kind of create at least a competition for him of some sort. No. So I just don't trust any of all that stuff that's out there, and I'm just trying to reasonably, logically look at this. I don't think there's any reason to speed it up at the moment. In fact, I think it got going too fast over the weekend for the Jags' liking.
But you still didn't get to my point, though. Like, listen, Urban Meyer, according to a lot of people, and maybe even the Jaguars, he's the guy they want to get. Okay, so if that's the case, and you want to go after Urban Meyer, and if you're Shad Khan and you're the Jacksonville Jaguars and you have the best job available, like everyone's saying, then why haven't they interviewed him already? Why haven't they interviewed him like yesterday
or the day before that?
You don't think that would have got out?
No, that's my point. Like, I think it's harder for Urban Meyer's stuff to get out unless his camp leaks it, because you're not asking another team for permission. He's already available. Like, Marvin Lewis just got out there by the Jets. We didn't know beforehand, I don't think, and don't quote me on it, but I didn't see the Jets are interviewing Marvin Lewis. I just saw the Jets interviewed Marvin Lewis. So they got that after the fact. You know what I mean?
So you think the Jaguars already interviewed Urban Meyer?
Well, here's what my belief on the Urban Meyer front. I think the Jaguars, if he is high on their list, which I believe he probably is high on their list, I don't know if there's a lot of interviewing going on. You know what Urban Meyer is. You probably
no, man. You can't say that, Brent. How can you tell a team to do their due diligence and then they're not going to interview him?
Well, they may listen. I have no idea, and that's why I don't want to suggest that they've talked to him for the last 3 years about this at some point. I believe that you know what Urban Meyer wants, what he's looking for by talking to his representation. If you really want him, you know what he's about. Listen, don't we have a feel like we know what Urban Meyer's all about more than a lot of these other candidates? I think people know what Urban Meyer is, who Urban Meyer is. And by the way, that doesn't mean they're not going to interview him. And I don't know, I don't interview enough people to know how they set the table for this. Like, I thought this today. Let me add one thing before I forget, too. Why haven't you heard more about it? Why isn't it out there? Because I do think this is a little bit of a poker hand for the Jaguars.
But
they do
why?
have the best. Well, because there's 5 other jobs out there, man. There's 5 other jobs. I thought
the Jaguars had the best one. I thought that the Jaguars had the most draft capital.
I don't know why you're hung up on the Jags have the best job. They do have the best job. They do. So why would you want somebody else to go after your guy to raise the price, raise whatever, be a competitor there? I mean, why would you throw they don't even want Raheem Morris, Robert Saleh, and Eric Bieniemy out there.
Listen,
the Jags are staying quiet on this front.
If you're a coach and it's the best job, then don't you go to the best job? Like, Shad Khan has the money. Shad Khan has the money. So I'm not worried about the money. If they truly want Urban Meyer, then they'll spend the $12 million, the $13 million, whatever it's going to cost to get Urban Meyer. That's pocket change. So take the money out of it. If it truly is the best job, then what are you worried about? Like, why are you trying to play coy? You should be inviting everyone, hey, we're interviewing Urban Meyer today. We're going to interview Saleh. Like, come get some. We have the best job offer. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah,
that's how you should be running this thing.
Then there's a guy at the other side of the table like you that doesn't necessarily think this is clearly the best job, so you can't just float it out there. Maybe somebody else thinks like you.
Okay.
I mean, well, seriously, like, would you go take Deshaun Watson instead? That's out there. Would you take Sam Darnold? Would you want to be in New York? I mean, this is clearly the best job out there if you weigh them. But that doesn't mean that ex-coach doesn't think this is the best fit for him. Those are two different stories. Two different things. But I just don't. By the way, you have to understand, these reports are not coming from the Jags. The Atlanta Falcons are outwardly saying, and the Houston Texans have outwardly said, we interviewed X guy. The Jags are not doing that. The Jags are trying to keep this under wraps. I mean, some of the word is getting out here or there, but the Jags are not floating, hey, we're interviewing Robert Saleh on Saturday. That's not coming from the Jags.
So then do you think the Jaguars have interviewed Urban Meyer?
I think they have done a lot of work on Urban Meyer. I don't believe they have officially interviewed him. But I think they will in the next few days, as long as he still says, yes, I'm interested.
Well, then, in my opinion, then you're behind the 8 ball. Yes, you know what Urban Meyer brings to the table, but you know what he brings to the table as a college football coach. He's going to be different than NFL. He has to be. He can't be college Urban Meyer. He has to adapt. And if you're not going to interview him anytime soon to see how is he going to adapt, how is he going to transfer from the college to the pro level, then you're doing yourself a disservice.
I think those conversations, my friend, may have started, some 15 months ago about Urban Meyer. If you're asking me what I believe, I don't know that, but what I believe is those kind of inquiries may have started quite some time ago, because I think that's called doing your due diligence, even if you don't even have an opening. What's your next move on the chessboard, so to speak? One other thought on that in terms of the timing of interviews, and I don't know if it adds up or not, but I've thought about it, and I want to see your take on it. We get that, and Trevor Lawrence signs with an agent. Sorry, New York, but this is not adding up to play out like you sports radio folks up in NYC wanted it to. We'll talk about it more on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to at times mostly cloudy and breezy today. Temperatures reach the upper 60s with a late day shower possible. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where you get the lowest diamond price guaranteed or your money back.
Happy holidays from the team at CGC Water. This holiday season, our gift to you is clean drinking water. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Right now, CGC Water is offering a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener like the one we have at our home. If you're still not filtering your water, you are the filter. Schedule your free water test today and get peace of mind knowing your family's water is safe water. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Remember now, this is a limited time offer. A free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. Special holiday financing available for a limited time with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia, CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer. Have a happy and safe holiday season.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com. We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com. If you love golf, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 per round plus card fees with the Dream 18 golf card at great area golf courses like Queens Harbor Yacht and Country Club, Fleming Island Golf Club, and 6 others. And this isn't just a golf card. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 card for $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
Injuries on the job can cause you to lose control. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar Levine. Money is not coming in and your medical bills are piling up. Our legal team is here to help. We can help you file all your workers' compensation claims to make sure you get the proper benefits you're entitled to. If you've been injured on the job, call the law offices of Anajar Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Though no longer little, teens still need a lot of love. Yet teens in foster care have a harder time finding it, as 82% of foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. You can positively impact a teen's life as a foster parent with help from Family Support Services of North Florida. You provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. Take the next step at foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Welcome into the show, a name you know. If you've been listening and watching ESPN for a long time, I know you know him. We're going to call him one of the forefathers, if you will, of sports radio, Mike Greenberg.
Thank you. Forefathers is an interesting, that's fascinating. Every day, as I talk to more people, I get older and older. So that's kind of funny.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
Brent Martineau.
I finished second, right? I lost in the championship to you.
Austin Lane.
Hey, you know what? You didn't win, okay? That's all that matters.
I didn't win.
Don't worry about what you did last year. You didn't win.
I didn't win, and I auto-drafted.
That's right.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
The maturity that he brings and how consistent he's been in terms of his mental makeup and just getting better every single year. I hear you, and I also think, you know, if there's one concern or one issue, to me, it's not even the big games, because he's competing and he's fighting. He lost 2,800 receiving yards in his 3 receivers that were lost from a year ago. So and his offensive line was not very good. He's as good as Andrew Luck was coming out of college, and I know Andrew Luck probably didn't live up to all the expectations because of injury and retiring early, but Andrew Luck, in my 15 years of doing this, has been the highest prospect that I've had, and I just think that Trevor Lawrence has got a lot of the same qualities that Luck did when he was coming out of Stanford.
That is Todd McShay, ESPN draft guru. Hopefully we'll get Todd McShay on sometime over the next couple of months. And you're going to hear guys like Todd McShay rave about Trevor Lawrence, in part because it's it all relates to who they've seen in the past. That's why you hear Andrew Luck's name, and that's why those guys scored Andrew Luck so high, and now Trevor Lawrence getting that kind of grade. And so just compared to others, like I saw Pro Football Focus, Austin, say these last 3 years of Trevor Lawrence were like 90-plus ratings for Pro Football Focus. And Deshaun Watson, as great as he was at Clemson, as great as he is now, he was like in the high 80s, like 87, 88, 89. So all 3 years of Trevor Lawrence were higher than Deshaun Watson. So, again, they have grading systems, they have charts, they have all this stuff, and that's Pro Football Focus. But I'm talking about McShay and Kuiper and whatever analyst, and I would think even GMs and front offices. And when you do those grades, the numbers don't seem to lie.
No, without. I mean, listen, you talk about the numbers, you talk about analytics a little bit, but when you talk about those numbers with those comparisons, you can see them line up. Now, obviously, Trevor Lawrence hasn't taken a snap here yet, so we got to give him time. But if you're telling me right now that Trevor Lawrence for the next couple of years could be the next Andrew Luck, I wouldn't be the most upset about that. Now, obviously, Andrew Luck never won a Super Bowl, but I'll never forget when we found out as a team back when I was playing that, listen, we had to go through season after season of Peyton Manning kicking our ass, and now all of a sudden they luck into Andrew Luck. And I thought I was taken advantage of. I think the entire locker room, like, how is that fair? Like, you want to talk about people getting mad at the Jaguars for quote-unquote tanking and getting Trevor Lawrence. You should have saw us in that locker room when we found out they're going to get Andrew Luck. It's just like, how do you go from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck and not skip a beat? That's what it felt like. Yeah. So, if they can get an Andrew Luck-esque type of guy with that much hype, and, you know, it kind of seemed like right away when Andrew Luck came in, you saw glimpses of brilliance. I think Jaguars fans would happily take that right now. Yeah, it'd be here's the thing. Andrew Luck gave them a chance to compete for Super Bowls every year. They might not have won one, but he gave them a great chance, and he hid a lot of deficiencies. Can you imagine if Andrew Luck had this offensive line of the Colts the last couple of years? If they had done that faster and somehow were able to do that, I mean, he might still be playing, number one, and number two, he probably would have had even more success. And, you know, listen, Andrew Luck and other quarterbacks in this era will get a little bit of the Phil Mickelson to Tiger Woods treatment. If you're playing in the AFC, you got to deal with Brady and Belichick. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I mean, so that's fact, you know. In another era, Mickelson would have won 5 more majors. Yeah. If he wasn't playing in the Tiger Woods era. But I want to do something real quick. I want to take Andrew Luck's first year, his stats, and I want to throw them at you, and I want to see if you would accept that from Trevor Lawrence's first year here in Jacksonville, okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, now, obviously, I'm going to take the QB record out of it because they went 11-5. Obviously, you would take that at a heartbeat, but let's just put that to the side real quick. 4,374 yards, a 54% completion percentage, 23 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. Quarterback rating, and once again, this is kind of, I mean, who knows what this one means here on ProFootballReference.com. Quarterback rating of 65.6. Would you take that from Trevor Lawrence? Would you be intrigued? Would you be disappointed? What would you be? Wow. So, okay, I'm gonna actually push this out there as well because 4,300 yards. So the exact number is 4,374 yards. Okay. 54% completion rate? 54.1% completion percentage, yes. That surprises me. Yeah. I thought it would be more than that. 23 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. Correct. 65 QB rating. Yeah, but once again, I mean, I'm not sure what this rating means on this website, but it's 65.6. Wow. I was a little surprised that was his first year and they went 11-5. Those are not unbelievable numbers. I know the 4,300 is a pretty good number, and that's in like 2012 that would have been. Mm-hmm. So 4,300 in 2012 is a lot. 4,300 now is a lot, but you know it's more apt that you're going to get over 4,000 yards in the last 5 years than even 8 years ago, I would say. 54% surprises me. 23 touchdowns is a nice number. 18 interceptions. I did not realize he made that many mistakes with the football. Mm-hmm. And then a 65 QB rating. Well, yeah, so I'm sorry, Brett. So it's the QBR. So 65.6, and then the rating is 76.5. Take that for how you want. It says rating and then QBR. Okay. Yeah, QBR is a little bit different. That's that ESPN so, yeah, metric. Okay, so then the rating would be 76.5. Okay, which still, 76.5 is not a good rating for a quarterback. I mean, Blake Bortles was always around 80, just to give you a reference point. Mm-hmm. Blake Bortles had higher percentage, I think, every year of his career in terms of completion percentage than Andrew Luck did in year one. That stuns me. And here's the crazy thing, too. He made the Pro Bowl his rookie year. Really? Yeah. Wow, those numbers are throwing me off, man. Okay. I guess some guys must have sat out. Yeah, well, they ended up 11 oh, yeah, out of the Pro Bowl. Yeah, that's a good point. That could happen. Yeah. It is the quarterback position. So you're asking me would I take that?
I would be.
I'm saying if Trevor Lawrence comes up his first year, puts up those numbers, the season's over, and once again, take the record out of it, right? I mean, 11-5 you would kill for, but probably not going to happen. But he puts up those numbers. How are you feeling after the season?
Not as happy as I'd hope.
and I'm kind of the same way, man.
I mean,
because those 18 interceptions just.
Those are underwhelming numbers. The two numbers, 54% and 18, bug me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we are in a little bit of a different age in offense right now in the NFL, even in an 8-year period, where if you're 54%, like that's one of the big problems right now with Carson Wentz, and that's why people are struggling viewing Carson Wentz as getting it back because he's so bad percentage-wise. Like 65 to 70% is the new norm. That's not just like a Drew Brees number. That's like the new norm. You know, Josh Allen obviously having an MVP caliber year. I think he's at 70% completion rate. That's a guy that was at 57 and 58% his first couple of years in the league. So I would be underwhelmed with the completion percentage and the interceptions. And I'd be like, okay, we got to see more now. That's year one. And by the way, year one on a team that went 1-15 is certainly allowable for a honeymoon period. And I don't think be like, oh, my gosh, they made the wrong pick. Oh, my God, look at Justin Fields. I would just be a little bit underwhelmed by those numbers. I certainly don't need 4,300 yards passing. I think if he has 4,300 yards passing, he's probably asked to do too much. But if you can give me around 3,800 yards passing, you give me around that touchdown mark, and I'll even allow for a dozen interceptions. And the completion percentage alone is up at least over 60%, or right around there at the worst, then I'm okay with it. You know, then I feel better about it. So I'm not asking this guy to go for 4,500, 30 touchdowns, 6 picks, 68% completion percent. I'm not being unrealistic here. I just am being honest. If you gave me those numbers at the end of next season, I think we'd be saying, hey, there's some good, there was some bad, and this guy, we love him. And look, we saw some things that showcase we haven't seen that before in Jacksonville. This guy's the real deal, and would probably talk more about, hey, they got to put better stuff around him. They got to do better around him. But he also needs to take some steps. And we might talk about that no matter what. I think we'd be talking a little bit more significantly with a little more tone in our voice if he ends up with a 54% completion rate and 18 picks.
Yeah, and without a doubt. And we have to keep in mind, and listen, I'm not trying to be Captain Buzzkill right now or anything like that. I mean, far from it. But if some of the comparisons are, well, he is the next Andrew Luck. You know, he's an intriguing as Andrew Luck coming into the league. Okay, but let's remember how Andrew Luck did his first year, and let's keep in mind here, and no disrespect to the Jaguars coming up, we'll see how they draft, we'll see the free agency, but at the time, Andrew Luck was coming into a team that had some pretty damn good players. T.Y. Hilton, Reggie Wayne, Mathis was still playing at a high level at the edge. Like, they had a pretty dang good team around Andrew Luck for him to be successful, and he put up those numbers. I think that, you know, if Trevor Lawrence puts up those numbers, obviously the record's not going to reflect that. So we might have to expect more from Trevor Lawrence just to satisfy our needs.
Yeah, it's a good call. I'm going to go – now you've got me intrigued. So now I'm looking at other numbers and other quarterbacks that we value, right, as good players. Yeah. And so, like, I'm not going to – because what's interesting is what you're saying here is, like, remember Peyton Manning threw for, like, the record interception.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that is actually more of the kind of team – and I'd have to really go back and look. But isn't that kind of the team that he's walking into here in Jacksonville? Andrew Luck was walking into a situation, you're right, where you could go 2-14 to 11-5. This Jacksonville Jaguars team is not going to be 11-5. I mean, let's be honest. It's that's a pipe dream to think that they could be 11-5 next year. And so it's not that kind of team. Maybe a little more Peyton Manning-esque. And I forget how many games Manning won in that first year. I don't think it was too many. But I know he threw for a ton of interceptions.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you want to go, I mean, I can look it up real quick if you want Peyton Manning's first year.
Yeah,
so,
go ahead.
Yeah, so his first year he went 3-13, a 56% completion percentage, 3,739 yards, 26 touchdowns, 28 interceptions.
Yeah, and what did they go record-wise?
They went 3-13.
3-13.
He had a quarterback rating of 71.2.
I'm not going to lie. I hope for better of Trevor than that, too.
Oh,
like, I really do.
Yeah.
So here, I'm going to give you one, and this is going to be I'll probably can find a better one, but let's just go with it for now. I'm going to give you Deshaun Watson, who's playing really good football. right? And take his – it's really going to be his first full year because he started like 6 games in year 1. So that already is going to skew this because he had a chance to sit behind and learn and wait. But in his first full season, he had 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 9 picks. They did go 11-5 in Houston, and again, they were built to be able to do that. He also took 62 sacks that year. 62 sacks.
Those got to stay with you, man. At least a couple of those he's still feeling when he gets up in the morning.
Wow, that's an amazing amount.
That's
but
ridiculous.
His completion percentage, by the way, was 68%. And Watson has been 68, 67, 70 in his 3 seasons in terms of completion percentage. His yards always hovering around 4,000 and now up around 5,000 this year. Here's the key. His interception total is, his touchdown total isn't like 38 and 40. It's more 26, 26, 33. But his interception total has been very good, 9, 12, and 7. And so he has eliminated the mistake. And keep in mind, this is a guy in Trevor Lawrence. 1 has won a lot of football games. 2 has not lost a lot of football games. 3 has thrown a lot of touchdowns. And 4 has not thrown a lot to the other team in his entire career.
Well, and also keep in mind, too, with Deshaun Watson, right, because he can beat you with his legs. Now, he didn't really do it this year that much, but in the past he's had 7 touchdowns rushing, 5 touchdowns rushing. So he also is the dual threat type of guy, even though maybe his passing touchdown numbers might be a little low.
Yeah, and even in that rookie year, man, just to your point, he rushed quite a bit. It was 99 times for 550 yards. That seems a little bit much for Trevor Lawrence.
Well, Brent, the guy was running for, at least with Trevor Lawrence, I think you feel a little more confident with offensive line coming in what they have right now, and maybe they build off that as well. Deshaun Watson was running for his life in Houston. He
was, and I say that, though. You're right, 5 touchdowns, but he only had 30. That's only 35 yards a game. That's not actually that. Minshew had what, like 300 yards last year in 12 games or something?
Yeah.
So I would suspect somewhere between 300 and 500 yards rushing for Trevor Lawrence wouldn't be that hard to attain. I think 500 is on the high end of that. I don't think you want him running that much. I think he's able to do it, but I don't think you're going to design that in the game very often, although I'll be glad to see the read option come back to Jackson.
Listen, let's go with the read option, but listen, we don't need Sean Payton, Taysom Hill, just go on the goal line and run it in like, hey, we got other weapons, we have other means, you got Laviska Shenault, like you got a lot of tools at your disposal. Let's not get this guy, banged up his rookie year. His rookie year.
Yeah.
It's a double negative.
Yeah, and he really just don't call a game like I saw in the semifinal the other night. 16 rushes to me is too much. You want to still use it as a surprise element, and it was too much in my opinion. Someone on social media says, "Are you kidding me? Give me 11-5 any season." Obviously, that guy didn't get the point of this conversation.
I mean, how many times did I have to say we're throwing the record out of it?
He might have just saw it on Twitter.
I got you.
But when I tweeted it out. But
okay.
Hey, that's a fascinating look, man. Fascinating look at Luck, because I would have guessed those numbers would have been more favorable, especially 11-5 to a Pro Bowl. But he certainly showed very good things and kept getting better and better and better. Listen, it's not going to all be about year 1. But to me, what we have learned to know around here is what it's supposed to look. Well, we know what it's not supposed to look like. No, seriously, like we don't.
No, we're experts in that, Brent.
Yeah, we really are, and so I think. I think we know what the eye test will show, right? We're not going to be fooled by a few weeks of success or even a couple of months of success when maybe there's still debate about Minshew last year, right? Was that a mirage? Was that because teams didn't know how to treat him and had tape on him? Was this the real Minshew? I am not a Minshew hater. I think he did some good things. I think he can be a good quarterback. I think somewhere along this season it went awry for sure, but that's why I like him back here in Jacksonville, because I think if you need him for a pinch in a 4-game stretch, I think he can win you games. I really believe that. So, but I also think we saw the Blake Bortles for a few weeks that led into another couple of years, and fool me once, but don't fool me twice, right?
Yeah.
And then we've seen pretty good quarterback play from Garrard. We've seen bad quarterback play from Gabbert. You can go all the way back. I think at the end of the day, we're not sure we've ever seen a guy with these kind of tools in Jacksonville, and that's really the moral of the story. Hey, let's take a break. We'll talk more Trevor Lawrence, no doubt about it. And what I didn't get to right there is he did hire an agent. And what does that mean? And the agency that he hired. And, again, sorry, New York, but this has no writing on the wall that they're going to pull an Eli Manning or John Elway.
Mm-hmm.
And more good news for Jacksonville over the last couple of days, I think. One, he declared he's not going back to Clemson. We kind of knew it, but now we know it. And two, he hires an agency that isn't littered with star players. And that's not to take anything away from the agency, by the way. But it doesn't have the writing on the wall like we're going to pull this power play of, I think it was Tom Condon with Eli Manning, back in 2004. We'll talk about it when we come back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Thursday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The stars are all aligned. The Jags have the first pick, and Trevor Lawrence has declared for the NFL draft. He even thinks the season taught him to be a better leader.
Definitely weird and interesting, and never really expected that I was going to have to miss two of the biggest games of the year for it. So that obviously sucked, but just taught me how to lead through adversity, and how to not physically be there with my team, but try to just do everything I can to make an impact.
Before any of that, though, the Jags need a GM and a smattering of coaches, including the top spot. The Jags interviewed defending Super Bowl champion or offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy of the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday, who just so happens to be one of the guys who helped develop Patrick Mahomes. Bieniemy's dance card is awfully full, and Urban Meyer is still rumored to be at the top of the Jags wish list. This Sports Center update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Hey, know when the best time to buy Christmas lights or artificial Christmas trees is? December 26th. Off-season rates are for real. It's the same for air conditioners. Believe it or not, January isn't a hotbed month for air conditioner sales, because no one's AC is breaking down in this weather. So why am I telling you all this? Because I've already done all the extensive technical and customer service training for my AC techs. I hire the best and train them even better. That's why they can fix what others can't. And part of my promise to them is a steady 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year. And right now, they ain't busy. I'm paying them like I promised, but I'd sure rather be sending them out on install jobs. So if your system's older or you'd like to upgrade it, now's the time. By mid to late February, we'll be busy again, scheduling and running spring tune-ups for all our loyal Club Griffin members. But now's the time for a deal. So ring us at
griffinservice.com.
License number 1250697.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
If you love golf, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 a round, plus card fees, with the Dream 18 golf card at great area golf courses like the Golf Club at Southampton, the Club at Osprey Cove, and Hidden Hills Golf Club. And this isn't just a golf cart. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 card for just $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
As a parent or grandparent, deep down, do you worry that your child may not be able to defend him or herself if bullied? That they may be introverted, too attached to electronic devices, and their grades are suffering? Karate America teaches 7 steps designed to ensure a lifetime of success for your child or grandchild in a safe, sanitized environment with all necessary precautions taken to prevent COVID. Please visit karateamerica.info to fill out a survey and learn if they can help your child.
Slip and falls can be embarrassing, leaving you in pain and feeling like you've lost control. I'm Eli Anajar from the law offices of Anajar & Levine. After a fall, document the scene by taking photographs and make sure to get medical attention for any injuries you may have. If you've been injured in a slip and fall accident, Call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Nearly 250,000 men and women in the U.S. will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year.
Breast cancer is unacceptable.
Visit Komen.org/unacceptable.
The hardest part of any goal is oftentimes getting started. All month long, we're going to help you get started on the path for a happier you for free. To hear from our experts and check out upcoming shows from personal health to your home's health, visit GetStartedJax.com.
AD needed championships. Chips plural, to start entering the greatest power forward ever conversation. How many does he need to win with the Lakers before he starts entering that conversation?
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And now, watch exclusively on ESPN+.
People that run these organizations and head coaches have not seen Trevor Lawrence in person. They've only watched clips in film, in games. They've got to now sit down, get the information, look at all the information, Zubin and Jay, find out what it is that he does well. Do you think Sean Payton has seen Trevor Lawrence in person? No, because he's trying to win the damn Super Bowl. Eric Bieniemy is in the midst of winning the Super Bowl. He hasn't seen Trevor Lawrence. He hasn't probably even watched Clemson film. You get him on the board in your meetings. You put stuff on the board. You asked him, where's the hot read at? You asked him, what's the protection? And he can't spit that stuff out the way that you thought he could, will make you nervous.
That was not Maurice Jones-Drew. That was Keyshawn Jackson. Keyshawn Johnson.
And I thought Mo came clean yesterday.
He did. He was good. But hey, listen, I'm not knocking Keyshawn right there. Keyshawn, Jay, and Zubin each morning, 6 a.m., 10 a.m. on ESPN 690. I'm not knocking that. He's basically saying the same thing. Do your due diligence, right?
Yeah.
And make sure there's no red flags. Listen, this guy was thought about when he played in the national title game that he could come out that year after his freshman year and be the top pick in the draft. Yeah. That's how good of a prospect this guy is. That does not mean he's great on a board. That does not mean he has doesn't have flaws. That does not mean you could find something that you don't like about him. Very true. But I think you'll be hard-pressed to find anything enough wrong that you're not going to take him with a top overall pick. I think that's more the trend, Austin.
No, I hear you. My question to you is, so let's play the role of GM, or more importantly, probably even head coach right now. And let's say that we're in those combine meetings, right? And let's say that we have our quarterback prospects in there, and let's say that we make them go to the board. Depending how well they do on the board, like what does that mean to you? Because I'll give you two cases. Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, the reason why Andy Reid absolutely fell in love with him, or a big reason why, was because of what he was able to do on the board. Andy Reid was quoted saying at the Super Bowl last year he really liked Deshaun Watson, but after he met with Patrick Mahomes and saw him on the board, he loved Patrick Mahomes, and they went that direction. Kyler Murray, and I don't have the exact evidence, but there was rumors and murmurings around Kyler Murray saying he was horrible on the board, right? Like he wasn't that good. Now, don't get it twisted. Kyler Murray still has a lot to prove, I think, in the NFL. I mean, he had this great year this year. He used his legs a lot, and obviously that Kingsbury offense. I'm not sold completely on Kyler Murray now because, let's be honest, my fantasy team is done, and I have no need for him anymore. But with that being said, like there was the murmur saying that Kyler Murray wasn't so good on the board, still goes number one, had success this year. Like, do you buy into that narrative where if a quarterback doesn't do well on the board, doesn't blow your socks off, that you maybe shy away from him?
Yeah, I listen, I want that. If I look at Patrick Mahomes as kind of the guy now and say, hey, if this guy was good on the board, I want my guy to be good on the board. I've got the physical tools. I've got the athleticism. I've got all these other things, these intangibles, but I want that too because that shows me greatness potential. But I also wouldn't say, okay, I can't have him. He's going to the second round in my book, Mm-hmm. So you just got to be careful of that balance. I understand what those guys are saying. I think there's something to it. Hey, I want to get into this. He signed with his agency, and it's a smaller agency. We're not going to have time to get into it right now, but hang with us on that topic because New York City last week and the last couple of weeks was like, hey, He still might power play his way to us. We're the Jets. We're New York. They're Jacksonville. And
yeah, you're the Jets.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
and so I want to
you're
get
the
into
Jets.
that.
Okay.
But I also want to be able to get into it when we have a little bit more time. We're running up against the top of the hour, and Chris is hanging on the line. So let's get to him while he's been hanging on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Chris, what's happening, man?
Hey, how's it going, Mr. Brent?
Good, good.
Hey, last time I talked to you was actually Feudal Friday. It was Friday after we lost to the Titans in Week 2.
Oh, boy.
And A-Train actually wasn't there, man. What's up, big dog?
How you doing, man? You all right?
Yes, sir, man. Pleasure to speak to you. So, quick question for you guys because I know y'all are busy. Trevor Lawrence, 16 in college on his jersey, right? Is he going to be number 18 when he gets here? Because Conley's out the door, right? We talked about he was dropping a lot of balls. By the way, the last game of the season, he caught a lot of balls, but still, he's out the door, right? So 18, well, he's going to get any number he wants anyway. So I'll let you speak. 16, 18, or number 1? What y'all think?
Where do you go? Where do you go, Austin?
Man, you know what? I mean, I let Trevor Lawrence take whatever he wants, right? I mean, dude, if you want to rock an 88 for whatever reason, for some strange, peculiar way, then rock the 88. That's probably illegal, though. I think that he rolls with 16, and I'll be honest, the number 16 does nothing for me, but you put that long hair and that teal and black with maybe a mustache. We'll see how that pans out. I like 16.
Yeah, I think he stays with 16 because I think he's built a brand with 16, and it can still honor Peyton Manning, and that's why he wore it. And so that's why Chris is asking, will he go to 18 like Peyton did in the NFL? I think that's why he's asking.
Well, and that's why I don't like the number 16, because of Peyton Manning and what he did to me.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
But he wore 18. He wore 18 when he did that to you.
I don't know.
In the NFL.
I don't even remember, man. I'll be honest with you. All right, yeah, I guess you're right. I try to forget about it as much as possible, try to block that out of my memory bank, but now we're talking about it.
I like 16. I mean, the last great 16 quarterback would have been Joe Montana. I think Jim Plunkett wore 16. Who am I missing, folks? I know you'll let me know.
Jim Plunkett, that's a pull.
That is.
Nice flex there, Brent.
That is a little. I'm pretty sure he wore 16.
I can look that up. He was 16, yeah.
Yeah, Montana. There's got to be somebody else recently. All right, you New York. We're getting after you when we come back on ESPN 690.
Boss, hit the gas! What's going on? You were supposed to check to see if that house had anyone home. Now their porch is on fire.
Boss, I didn't do it. The ding-dong doorbell camera just burst into flames and started melting.
Oh, so it's true. Those things are fire hazards.
Yeah, and now we know another big difference between those cheap ding-dong doorbell cameras and a SafeTouch security system.
Well, yeah, with SafeTouch, homeowners don't have to worry about their video cameras getting hacked.
Or employees spying on customers.
Or bursting into flames.
Uh-oh. Fire department's coming, boss. Time to go.
I'm way ahead of you. By the way, your eyebrows are completely gone.
Oh, well. Maybe it's an improvement.
Just so I know you still got your senses, recite the Crooks R Us golden rule again.
Stay away from SafeTouch houses. Don't worry. It's burned into my brain.
Crooks know to stay away from SafeTouch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hi, it's Brian Kilmeade for Phil Aiken Home Team Keller Williams Realty. I'm talking with Greg and Gary about their recent home sale. Why did you call Phil Aiken?
We called Phil Aiken because we had heard that his team will sell your house quickly and for more money than any of the other realtors in town.
Tell us what happened.
Phil Aiken and his A-team, they will make the process very easy. Sold in 4 days and got over asking price.
Well, that's great. So how did you think they were able to sell it so fast?
Because Phil has the buyers and they have the team that can get the job done quickly and stress-free.
What would you tell a friend who is looking for a real estate agent to sell their home?
Would I recommend Phil Aiken and the A-team? Absolutely.
Well, the results speak for themselves, right? Phil Aiken and his team have the systems and will even guarantee to sell your home in writing or buy it himself.
Yes, we got better results than we expected.
Thanks, Gary. Friends, hire the agent with the buyers looking to buy a home right now. Call Phil Aiken. Call 500-PHIL. That's 500-PHIL, or visit philhasthebuyers.com.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
College football, it's the game you wake up early on Saturdays for, even though kickoff isn't until 7. The game where the Goodyear blimp becomes a Hall of Famer. The game that goes just beyond school, spirit, fandom, or love of the sport. It's the game where the comebacks happen. It's the game where anything can and will happen, as long as you have the drive. Because college football is the game that moves you. We get it because it moves us too. Goodyear, more driven.
If you love golf or know somebody who does, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 per round plus cart fees with a Dream 18 golf cart at great area golf courses like St. John's Golf and Country Club, Amelia River Golf Club, and Eagle Landing Golf Club. And this isn't just a golf cart. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 cart for $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this written.
Now that medical marijuana is being used in Florida, you need information. Just log on to the Mary YouTube videocast to learn about medical marijuana use in Florida. We talk to doctors, nurses, pastors, pharmacists, legislators, and law enforcement officials to bring you the most up-to-date information about medical marijuana use in Florida. Subscribe and never miss an update.
Get more in 2021 when you shop Arlington Toyota, like Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. How about a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles? And that comes with your purchase. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, almost everyone is approved. With 4.7 out of 5 stars and over 11,000 reviews, it's time to get more in 2021 with Arlington Toyota. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
What if the music stopped? If the familiar voices were silenced? If there were no breaking news updates? What if your companion and connection to your community came with a monthly fee? Don't worry, we're free local radio with you wherever you go, celebrating 100 years and looking forward to the next 100. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local TV and radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
If you love golf, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 per round plus cart fees with the Dream 18 golf cart at great area golf courses like Queens Harbor Yacht and Country Club, Fleming Island Golf Club, and 6 others. And this isn't just a golf cart. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 card for $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
If he gets the right agent, he will be God in New York. He'll have his board over at Times Square. He'll make a fortune. If you saw what happened with Eli Manning. And I really think that that's what probably would happen because there's nothing in Jacksonville. There's nothing there other than palm trees, like you said earlier. But I don't know. But I would definitely trade away what you can and get him. Because he is so special. He's better than, they said, he's even better than Andrew Luck. You know, the throws that he could throw, this kid.
You're not going to get any argument from me. He is a generational player. Now, because he's a generational player, it might make him literally impossible to get. I don't know that there's an offer that you could give Jacksonville to move from 2 to 1.
Well, that was reaction on 98.7 ESPN Radio up in New York last week Bob Wischusen is the New York Jets play-by-play man. Does an excellent job. You heard him on the bowl game down in Miami, I think it was last weekend, and also was filling in on sports radio up in New York. And they obviously were talking about Trevor Lawrence and saying, hey, don't rule out the power play. You know, the idea was, hey, we're New York, they're Jacksonville. Bob, although I did take some offense to this, and the rest of Jacksonville did too, said Jacksonville basically is Hartford with palm trees. I guess somebody else coined that earlier, even before Bob, is what I was told on Twitter. But either way.
Riveting stuff.
To me, and Bob was comparing it at the time, they did this whole segment. They had some callers involved, and they were comparing it to kind of like the 83 draft with Elway and the power play that Elway had. And again, you can more recently go to 2004 with Eli Manning. And, there's a lot of thought that Archie Manning kind of made that happen. And Archie Manning says, I read a recent article that said Archie Manning did not make that happen. It was up to Eli, and it was Tom Condon, his agent, that really put that in the works to not go to the Chargers. But you got to remember, it wasn't small market, big market necessarily with San Diego versus, and San Diego's not a small market, but it was more, I think, ownership, of San Diego and their reputation compared to potentially going over to somewhere else and eventually landing in New York.
Well, to me, I mean, listen, no one has ever really come out and said why Eli Manning did what he did. Yes, there was the rumor it was Archie Manning's call. Well, Archie Manning said that wasn't his call. But if you look between the lines here, it's pretty obvious why Eli Manning didn't want to go to San Diego. It's the fact of how they handled Drew Brees, right? Because you let two guys' egos get in the way. Those two guys were Marty Schottenheimer, and I forgot who the GM at the time was. I can't remember who the GM was, so you have to forgive me for that. A.J. Smith. A.J. Smith was the GM there. Remember what happened that year at Drew Brees last year in San Diego? Drew Brees was still the man. He was performing very well. They draft Phillip Rivers, much to the disgruntledness of Drew Brees. Drew Brees went up to Smith and said, we're not taking Phillip Rivers. If you take Phillip Rivers, you're going to be pissed. Well, what did Smith do? He took Phillip Rivers. Marty Schottenheimer was a big Drew Brees guy, right? So that was his dude. So now you have the head coach and the GM fighting about it. Well, this so happened in the last game of the season before the playoffs. The Chargers are already locked in, and if you remember what happened, Marty Schottenheimer wouldn't take Drew Brees out because he didn't want to play Phillip Rivers and make Smith happy at the GM spot. What happens to Drew Brees? He's in a meaningless game in the last game of the season. He ends up messing up his shoulder very bad, has to have surgery, and he leaves San Diego. Like, those two guys' egos right there set aside and put forth the motion of Drew Brees' trajectory now in New Orleans. So if I'm Eli Manning and I'm playing the quarterback position and I see that all that stuff happening, then no, I'm probably not going to want to go to the Chargers.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. Everybody has different reasons. I mean, if you go all the way back to Elway, there's different reasons, and it's happened before. So there's precedent for it. What's changed so much, and my argument a little bit was, well, first of all, let's not sit here and say like the New York freaking Jets are anything great in terms of the brand, and I got to go to New York just to play for the Jets. If you're going to go to New York, you're going to probably play for the Giants, first of all, would be your pick, and then maybe the Jets. But there are a bunch of different organizations you would pick. I understand the 1 versus 2 pick here, which makes this more of a relevant conversation with the Jets. But, I mean, come on, the Jets, what we ended up saying on social media, we went back and forth, and we had this argument that, listen, Gardner Minshew here in Jacksonville feels like, and I don't know this for fact, but it certainly feels like he has had more endorsements than Sam Darnold in New York. And they both have about the same amount of wins. Minshew had more personality and flair, and he was kind of a thing for a bit. But what's Sam Darnold doing in terms of endorsements? Yeah, he's playing in New York, great. But he's not playing great, but neither was Gardner Minshew. It wasn't like he was 12-4 and MVP of the league, and he was still getting endorsements. The NFL brand is so big now, you could go play and name your podunk town, and you're probably going to be found, and if you're a star across the country, a la Patrick Mahomes. Not that he plays in a podunk town, Kansas City, I love you, but it's not the biggest market in the world is the point.
No, listen, and I've said this before, and I don't want to echo myself too much here, but if you win football games in 2021, with the way social media is and the outreach that you have, you'll get the endorsements and you will be known. With fantasy football, all that stuff, people are going to know who you are. And if you're in New York, And if you're a Jets fan, you need to wake up and realize that. Like, you guys got to stop living in the 70s and 80s. Like, yeah, I get it. New York City is cool, but I'll be honest with you. I played in New York 3 times, right? And I always made it a habit to kind of check things out a little bit and see what the city had to offer. Like, that was kind of like my pregame ritual. And I'll never forget, like, I was excited the first time we're going to New York. You know, it was a newer stadium, and I was excited to see, like, wow, what is this going to be all about? And I remember driving up to it in New Jersey, by the way. It wasn't even in New York. It was in New Jersey. And gray skies, cold. And I'm from Wisconsin, so I'm used to that. But nothing really to write home about. I remember pulling up to the stadium, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like, that was my exact reaction. But, like, I pulled at places like Pittsburgh, Seattle, Kansas City, well, obviously Buffalo because their fans are outside. And I kid you not, I've told this story before. There was 100 people lined up, and I'm talking grandmas, children, everybody lining up, giving us that nice Buffalo welcome with 2 giant middle fingers in there as we're pulling up. Like, I pull up to that place, and I'm like, dang, okay, Buffalo, I see you. You're in the middle of nowhere, too, but your fan base is rabid and crazy. I pull up to New York to play the Jets. Meh. Okay. Whatever. So there's that side of it. The other side being, listen, if New York is such a great place to play and you're so worried about your brand, well, you lost one of the best running backs who was supposed to be one of the best running backs in Le'Veon Bell. You probably lost the best safety in Jamal Adams. They both wanted out, okay? So the whole draw to the city and living underneath the big lights, nobody cares about that. Players care about winning games and being in a good environment more than anything. And do the Jets have a good environment right now? Who's their head coach? Oh, I forgot. How have the optics been of the New York Jets the past couple years? Not great, just like the Jaguars. So if you're a Jets fan right now and you're sitting on your high horse thinking, oh, I can't believe Trevor Lawrence is going to Jacksonville. We're so much better. You're really not. And until you guys realize that, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's facts.
Yeah, that's the reality of it, Austin, is like nobody's saying, oh, yeah, I really would rather go to the Jets. I mean, that's the reality of the two organizations. They're not that far apart, although maybe their cities are vastly different in where they are at geographically. You know, the only guy recently I can remember that said no to the Jacksonville Jaguars in favor of a different market, and he was very upfront about this, I believe. That was the word at the time, because the Jags offered him a lot of money. And I do think the Giants ended up offering a bit more, but it was in the same ballpark, and it was strictly, hey, he was going there because he really wanted to go play in the bigger market. Like, that was one of the reasons. And that was Olivier Vernon. Remember that?
Yeah.
And when the Jags were pursuing him, I think the idea of playing in Jacksonville, not that he was hating on Jacksonville necessarily, but the idea of playing in Jacksonville versus playing in New York or in that area was a big thing to him. He wanted to go see the bright lights of New York. Listen, New York's an unbelievable city. It's one of my favorite city in the world. I mean, it's an unbelievable city. Hate the Yankees, but it's an unbelievable city. I just think unless you're talking with this brand, unless you're talking about local endorsements, say like if Trevor Lawrence when he comes to Jacksonville and a local car dealership says, hey, we want Trevor Lawrence to be the face. Well, I don't know what the number is. Let's just say he's going to make $200,000 for doing that for a year. Well, in New York, it might be like $1 million.
Yeah.
So I think there's big difference there. But Trevor Lawrence is the Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback, can still end up with a poster in Times Square as the Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback as easily as he ends up on a poster wearing a Jets uniform in Times Square.
Listen, it's not even up for debate. Like, this is how the NFL works now. By the way, Olivier Vernon, I hope you get better. Ruptured Achilles. Now, you ended up in Cleveland. Like you wanted to go to New York, but now you're in Cleveland.
No, the Jags might have got the benefit of that deal, really.
Well, yeah, but you're in Cleveland now, and I've been to Cleveland.
Yeah, good point.
So, yeah. Okay. Anyways, so with that, I mean,
I believe there was a basketball player that used to play for the Florida Gators that says nobody went to vacation in Cleveland.
Was that Noah? Or who was that?
Joakim
Noah said that. No, I mean, Cleveland, yeah. All right, anyways, so, what do you want me to say?
Listen, I love you Browns fans. I'm not hating on your city. Yeah. I like Cleveland. I think it's okay.
I'm just going to say that lake effect snow in those December games when it's like, what?
That was a Brent subtle not compliment. I think it's okay.
No, you know what Brent's getting at, man. He doesn't want to go all in. He's on the fence. He's got a brand to protect. You know me, how I feel about it. I'm not professional at all. I'll tell you like it is. I don't like Cleveland. Anyways, I mean, you have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but besides
an hour
that,
from there, man.
I feel like talking smack about Kentucky. It was a dry county though, and I forgot what I was even going to say here, Brent. What were we talking about?
Yeah, just the size of the city. But here's what I'm getting at. Okay, where are we going with all this? This was almost like a last week story, but where I'm going with it is Trevor Lawrence picks today an agent and signed up with an agency. And it's a smaller, I would say a smaller agency because, quite frankly, they're not super involved with the stars of the NFL. They have plenty of NFL representation, including Tyler Shatley, and who plays on the Jags, including Nathan Peterman, who's from Bartram Trail.
Yeah.
So, and I think Brandon Allen, but again, Trevor Lawrence is going to be all of a sudden like they are huge name guy. And I didn't do enough research to know how old their agency is, but I just think the one thing about the reason we brought up the whole New York thing to get to this part of the conversation is if New York folks or if anybody thought that the power play could take place, a la Jalen Ramsey asking out of Jacksonville, a la Manning going from San Diego to New York, a la John Elway back in the day in '83. If you thought that was going to happen, the general consensus is that would happen with a big-time agent, a guy that has a ton of stars, a guy that is a mover and shaker behind the scenes in the NFL. And I think this move today by Trevor Lawrence showcases and slams that door shut. It doesn't mean they can't try it. It just means it's unlikely, in my opinion. These guys are based in the Southeast. In fact, the main guy, Jake Curry, if I'm saying his name right, who I think he's going to sign with, is a big Clemson guy. Yeah. So there's a relationship there. Hunter Renfrow, by the way, is another one of his clients. And so it comes across like, okay, I don't think this is shaping up to be a power play move. So 2 doors have shut in the last 2 days is really the moral of the story.
Well,
one going back to college, and one if you had any thoughts or concerns down in Jacksonville or hope up in New York that a power play move was going to be made before the draft. Sure, we have to wait it out and see for the next few months, but it doesn't add up to that. There's no writing on the wall for that to happen.
No, listen, and obviously with Trevor Lawrence, I don't think he's wired like that. Like, he has no reason not to come to Jacksonville. Like, we didn't have the whole Marty Schottenheimer, Smith experience that they had in San Diego where it's like, well, look at how they treated that quarterback. Now, Doug Marrone maybe should have started Gardner Minshew the past couple games, but that's neither here nor there. Trevor Lawrence has no reason not to come here, so that's fine. I guess it's just the fact that, like, another argument is, like, can Jacksonville cultivate the talent, right? Like, is it a place that can raise the star power? And to all those haters out there or that want to live in that narrative, especially in New York or, whatever big market you're in, I bring you back to the 90s when Limp Bizkit had 3 number 1 hits on TRL, okay? The prosecution rests. Shut your mouth.
That's it. Simple
Shut your mouth.
that.
Like, Brent, people want to watch Draft Day with Kevin Costner and think that's real life. No siree. Like, Trevor Lawrence is the overall consensus number 1 pick. And no, I don't care if no one went to his 21st birthday party and, like, there's that whole thing out there. If you ever saw the movie, it's ridiculous. But at the end of the day, Trevor Lawrence is coming to Jacksonville.
Yeah, so Trevor Lawrence, big news today is now yesterday declares for the draft, today hires the agent. And by the way, like, you really can't hire an agent until you declare for the draft. But obviously there's some discussions that go on before. He didn't make that decision in the last, 12 hours.
Yeah.
So getting back to kind of like the Urban Meyer stuff that we were talking about doesn't mean conversations between representation or feeling out process or inquiries or casual conversations. I believe they take place all the time. I mean, I just think that's part of it in the circles of that business.
You want to hear something real crazy too? Do you want me to bring this full circle of the research that I've been doing about Trevor Lawrence just to prove to you right now that my head is in the game and I can't wait till he gets here? Are you ready for this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the agency, like you said, Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish?
Yes, Darius Rucker.
Darius Rucker, thank you. I should probably know his name. Darius Rucker is part of that agency, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know where Trevor Lawrence is from?
Trevor Lawrence is from Cartersville.
But where is he born?
I don't know that.
Johnson City, Tennessee. Okay. Now, why is Johnson City, Tennessee?
Because it's
a
mentioned
thing?
in a lot of country songs. I
You
know that.
better believe it. And here's that home run ball, Brent. So Bob Dylan and a member of the Old Crow Medicine Show wrote a song called Wagon Wheel. It was a national song, it seemed like, in Kentucky. In that song, they mentioned Johnson City, Tennessee. Darius Rucker, formerly of Hootie and the Blowfish, did a remix of that song, Wagon Wheel. And who does he mention in that song? Johnson City, Tennessee, Brent. Full circle. I hope your mind is blown, because guess what? I'm doing due diligence over here.
That is incredible homework, incredible tie together. And now I want Hootie to remake the song again and mention Trevor Lawrence somewhere in there. Just a TL.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, did you say you didn't like the number 16? Because I want you to see the video feed right now.
Let's see what we got putting on. All right, there's a little delay, so it's going to be a little teaser here.
Yep.
Okay. You're slowly putting it up. Oh, no! I think this is the first time in the show's history that I've learned your college baseball number.
Before there was Trevor Lawrence.
Wow.
There was Brent Martineau.
Now, be honest. That was like your fourth choice. Be honest about it.
No,
that was choice number 5.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't remember that, but it might have been. 1, 7, and 16 were popular numbers for me throughout my playing career for some reason. And I think 16 might have come just from like a subconscious influence from one Bo Jackson.
Okay.
Who wore 16.
Okay, I thought like maybe Larry Bird was like born on the 16th day of some month or something like that. You know, some of that nonsense. Okay.
So I'm all for 16.
I like it.
Trevor Lawrence. And by the way, my wife got this framed for me, right, coming out of college at some point. I don't remember when. And this is the biggest freaking frame and heaviest frame there is.
That thing's nice, man. She did a great job on that.
Yeah, so that's why I had to get hers done. Actually, I don't know who got it done first. I might have actually got Steph's done first.
Yeah.
And then she did mine.
Wait, so I thought, are you guys blue or purple?
That's purple.
That's purple. Okay, I got you. And what was the mascot again?
Eagles.
The Eagles. Okay.
Yeah.
Ashland University. Ashland University.
Ashland University. And
Eagles.
so,
doesn't really roll off the tongue. But,
nah, that jersey, though, is pretty sweet, too. It was like the mesh. So in like 1998, 1999, like it was like that mesh stuff was like, hey, this is cool.
No,
you know? It's not like that old heavy cotton, whatever.
But, don't act like mesh wasn't like the only thing people were wearing in like the early 90s, man. Like everyone was rocking mesh. Like that's all you could wear. Females were wearing mesh skirts. Guys were wearing mesh shirts. Like, you know, everything's exposed. That's how we roll, baby.
Yeah, but when you're playing at a Division II school,
yeah,
and you're a walk-on, and you get like that jersey to go. Yeah. That's like your 4th jersey. You got pinstripes, and you got your homes and your aways. This is like a special. I mean, you got 4 jerseys, and that's one of them. I'm like, I felt like I hit the lottery.
Time out from the game. Time out from the game, real quick. You had 4 jerseys.
I know we had 3. I think we had 4. Yeah, I think we had 4. I think we had solid white. I think we had a gray with purple in it, but it was mostly gray. Then we had a pinstripe white my senior year, which was kind of cool looking. Actually, I had purple pinstripe. And even though pinstripes were related to the Yankees, and I shouldn't have liked that. And then we had this, like a gray bottom with that purple top mesh. It was like our Sunday game jersey.
Were you guys a private school or a public?
Ashland is a private school.
Okay, well then I'm just saying, at Murray State, I had 2 pairs of cleats and 2 jerseys. Like literally, all I had was 2 pairs of cleats. And you guys are over there in your private school, Club Med, rocking 4 jerseys a pop. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I
feel like I was cheated.
I'm a public school guy, but my $25,000 tuition had to go to something. It's not like I was getting a college scholarship. I paid student loans for 10 years after college. At least I got a damn jersey out of it.
I went to school for $25,000 a year, and all they gave me was this jersey.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, this is the only one that we had our name on. The other ones we had to turn back in.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So, like, we would get the other 3 uniforms were, like, recycled.
I got you. Yeah, I just stole mine.
Yeah, well, I did that in high school. But this one we put our name on, so obviously we got to keep that one. Hey, nice. I think Sean's been hanging on the line. Let's get to him before we go to break.
Sorry, Sean, jersey talking here.
Sean, what number were you in high school, most importantly? What's up?
I wrote the bench, and I was number 13.
Okay, 13's a good number.
That's a good number, though, man. That's a great bench number. That's like the Michael Jordan of bench numbers. I see you, Sean.
It's a great bench number. Yeah. That's Dan Marino, baby.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
I tried to get in. They just said no. You're not good enough. No, but I want to make a few statements first. New Yorkers don't even like New York, so New York sucks. And then as far as star power goes, with Jacksonville, remember, Austin, social media accounts for big. Nobody knew who Juju Smith-Schuster was until that he started putting out social media TikToks.
It's a good point.
So social media is a big thing. But I want to go back on the coaching thing, coaching carousel, which you guys want real quick. I missed a few shows, so I'm not really necessarily sure if you guys discussed this yet. But with culture and Urban Meyer and Marvin Lewis or whoever else on the carousel, I remember back in the day, I grew up in the Jack Del Rio era. So he was a hard nose. You knew defense was his thing. You knew what you were getting. Tom Coughlin was disciplined. I don't know what Urban Meyer, besides winning, as far as culture goes, what he provides. And I'm not sure if you guys discussed this, but who do you guys think, coaching-wise, would be the actual legit culture? Like, you knew who you're going to play, who you're going to get. Urban Meyer can get talent, but what else is there?
Yeah, it's a great question, man. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it. Happy New Year. Thanks for hanging on. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. You're invited to call 904-362-9901 all the time. Hey, let's get to that. Okay, we're going to take a break. We're a little bit late. But hang on, Sean. We'll get to that. It's a great question. Are you going to know the identity of Urban Meyer? Like, what is it? Or another coach that might get hired here. Let's go through some of the candidates, Austin.
Yeah.
What would be the identity of these guys? It's interesting you mentioned Del Rio because a little bit later on in the show, the Jags could have had a Hall of Fame kind of player during the Jack Del Rio days. He wanted to be here. Jags said, we don't want you. That story came out today. That was pretty interesting. We'll get into it. But coming up next, what would Urban Meyer's culture be? What would he be known for? And same with some of the other candidates. We get into it next. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Becoming mostly cloudy today, but it'll be breezy and mild as we reach the upper 60s. A shower late in the afternoon, widely scattered, will become more widespread this evening and overnight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30 Action News. Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where you get the lowest diamond price guaranteed or your money back.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope. And you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo?
Yes.
It's hablo.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real-life situations.
The app is so easy to use and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. That's babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Appliances may work on your schedule, but they quit on theirs. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we'll get your appliances back up and running in no time at all. Our factory-trained and certified technicians have repaired more than 100,000 appliances over the past 35 years, servicing Jacksonville to St. Augustine and Ponte Vedra with a 90-day warranty on parts and labor, plus a 100% satisfaction guarantee. When your appliances quit, we're ready to get started. For quality repair at a price that's fair, visit AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
Do you know that there are 7 steps that can help to ensure a lifetime of success for your child or grandchild, even though they may have trouble controlling their anger or lack of focus or respect for others? Karate America takes pride in the tens of thousands of children they've impacted. Imagine your child or grandchild showing and earning respect, setting and achieving goals, and making good grades. Visit karateamerica.info to see if Karate America's leadership program is a good fit for your child.
Do you have a passion for sales? Are you known for building strong relationships? Do you love to compete and win? CMG Jacksonville is searching for a talented individual to join our family as a media consultant. This position will require a committed person who will forge great relationships with Jacksonville's business leaders and develop profitable campaigns for advertisers. If your talents are a match, email your resume to jaxjobs@cmg.com. That's JAXJOBS@cmg.com or call 245-8732.
Home Builders Institute is a national leader for career training in the building industry and provides students the skills and experience they need for successful careers. HBI training programs are taught in local communities across the country to youth, veterans, displaced workers, and other underserved populations. These programs do more than just provide job skills. They also build character and self-esteem, helping to provide students with the skills they need to succeed on the job and in life. Learn more at hbi.org.
What's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Your smart speaker brings ESPN 690 into your home office. All you got to do is say Amazon Echo, Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy that succulent sports coverage.
Austin Lane.
I want you to put yourself in Leonard Fournette's shoes. Probably a little bigger shoes than you're rocking right now. Shocker, you're wearing sandals, and that's all good, though.
Brent Martineau.
Well, you are too. They're just like, I mean, they're just like, look like
might
vans.
as well be. I might as well be.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
He is taking the time now to sort through whether he wants to make that jump, leave TV, and go coach. It's 2 totally different lifestyle choices, and it's hard and it's not easy. And he struggled with losing in college, and there would be even more losing at the NFL level. But at the same time that there would be more losing at the NFL level, there's more leeway with losing at the NFL level in terms of this. If you lose a game or 2 in college football, you're out. You're not winning the national championship. You could lose 3, 4, 5, 6 games in the NFL, still make the playoffs, and still go on a postseason run. And I think Urban Meyer, that has occurred to him here, that he could handle losses in his mind probably a little better than he could at the college level, where he struggled to do that, and I think it contributed to him stepping away from the game the number of times that he did.
Yeah, go to the NFC East and see what happens. You're going to love it over there, Urban. You're going to love it.
When you lose 9 times and still win.
You're going to love it over there.
It's a valid point. It's one I've heard a bit about Urban Meyer. It's like, it's funny. It's like, I understand there's a lot of angst about him, Urban Meyer, and the losses, and that's when things have happened. But it's like, this seems a little bit juvenile in a sense, where it's like, oh, this guy doesn't like to lose, or he's going to take his ball and go home, and he's not going to play again. I just think it's a little carried away. I think what people are pointing to, though, and that's because there is evidence of this, is the stress that losing brings on, especially in the college game. When you have a top 5 program, you lose one time, you might be done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you're 9-7 with the playoffs on, or 9-6 with the playoffs on the line in week 17 of the NFL season every week in the college game. Not every week because you're playing some cupcakes, but you get my point. There's no room for error. And so the idea that brings with that, when you're trying to win it all every year, and that's the goal, and that's also the expectation, that means if you lose it all, the stress goes up and up and up. And so the compilation of all that stress, listen, there's going to be plenty of stress in the NFL, plenty of it. There's expectations, and Urban Meyer is going to bring expectation no matter where he goes. So, and he's going to deal with stress that he hasn't dealt with before because he doesn't know what it is. He's going to encounter things that he hasn't experienced being an NFL guy versus a college guy if he chooses to go that route. And so the stress is going to be there. I understand what people are saying. Yeah, you can lose 5 times, still make the playoffs, go win the Super Bowl in the NFL. You just can't do that in college. And there's some truth to that. But I just feel like there's this overwhelming thought that, oh, my gosh, like if he loses, he just he needs to end up in the hospital, like if he loses one time. I don't really think that's it. I think it's the compilation of stress that is involved in that job at the collegiate level when you are a big-time head coach.
Well, I mean, listen, it's an important statement, though, right? Because it is different, obviously. But I always think, like, if you're a coach in the NFL and you talk about wins and losses, like, you can't necessarily think that way. Like, I understand it's the ultimate performance-based business. But you got to think about it as ways of winning and learning. Like, it's okay to lose. You know what? You're probably going to lose once, twice, 3 times, maybe 4 times, and that's okay. But the biggest thing is, how do you respond from those losses? What did you learn about your team? And when you learn about something, did you put it in a place where that's not going to happen again? That's what makes, to me, a great coach. Anybody can have a great team and go win. But when you lose, how do you rebound? And that's, to me, the biggest question mark right now. And I don't want to really call it a red flag because a lot of guys we don't know quite yet at the head coaching role. But it's definitely a question mark is, how is Urban Meyer going to respond when he loses maybe 3 or 4 games in a year? How is he going to act? Is he going to learn or is he going to be upset?
In reality, Austin, what's interesting about this is you have 2 guys that maybe the number one question about them, if they get to Jacksonville, is how will they handle losing? Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer. 2 guys that just haven't lost a lot. And one obviously has been way stressed out by it. One has just never even had to react to it much.
Just can't even comprehend it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, it's fair to say Trevor Lawrence could lose in the first month of his NFL career more than he ever lost in his entire high school career, or more than he ever lost in his collegiate career.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a big difference, and I think we talked about it with Maurice Jones-Drew yesterday. It's a fair question. All right, hey man, listen, you got all the goods, but how are you going to handle adversity now? Adversity is going to happen. You might win 5 games this first year. What are you going to do? So I think it's fair. Well,
you know what? And I thought, Mo brought up a great point yesterday because I even asked him the question. Like, when we talk about quarterbacks coming into the league, and the whole narrative is, well, they're winners. They haven't lost a lot of games. And I asked him because he's on the offensive side of the ball, so he has a better idea with those relationships that he's built with quarterbacks. Like, does that matter to you? Like, does that matter to the offense or even really the team in general when you have a quarterback who's not accustomed to losing? Like, is that just kind of what we put on the pedestal and it's a good title for an article, or does that actually matter? And Maurice Jones-Drew's comments yesterday was that does matter, right? Because that can be contagious, and I absolutely agree with him. I think that if you have a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, who is accustomed to accustomed to winning all his life, he comes to the Jaguars, and let's say, in those first 4 or 5 games, maybe they are 2-3, maybe they are 1-4. Well, now all of a sudden, he's not accustomed to that. And when you're not accustomed to something, you don't like it, especially losing. So that's where you step up as a leader and be like, guys, we got to rally behind each other here, and we got to work harder. We got to find some way to win these games. So I kind of like that front runner a little bit of a guy who hasn't lost a lot coming into the situation. Now, obviously, it can backfire, and the other side of the coin is going to be, well, they're going to implode basically because they can't handle it. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is that type of guy. I think Trevor Lawrence is the type of guy where if he comes to Jacksonville and he doesn't win right away, he's going to gather the troops around and find a way to win.
Yeah, and I think that point is a good one because if you go back to when the Jags won in 2017, Austin, I think one of the critical moments in building that team was getting Malik Jackson.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because people respected the fact that he had just won a Super Bowl with Denver. And that was important. Like, he knew what it took to get to the mountaintop. Now, we're not saying that with Trevor Lawrence or even Urban Meyer, that they know how to get to the Lombardi Trophy. But those guys will be respected because of the amount that they've won. There is a respect for being great. And at the levels they've played or coached, they've been great. So there's instant respect right away for a guy like that.
Let me ask you this then, Brent. Let's put it to the coaching philosophy now. Eric Bieniemy just won a Super Bowl, right? Won a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs as a coordinator, not a head coach, but as a coordinator. Urban Meyer obviously has had a lot of success, national championships in college, but not in the pros. Who do you give the edge to, or is it even? Like, do you lean more towards Bieniemy because he has been at the highest level calling maybe the plays in the Super Bowl, or do you lead more towards Urban because he was the head coach, but it's the college scene?
I actually think, Austin, when you put it in that context, and I heard Maurice say it a little bit yesterday too, and we didn't have time to even go further on it at the time, so I'm glad you've brought it back up. But I would say, unquestioned to me, I have less of a question of Urban Meyer winning at the NFL level than I do the question of, can Eric Bieniemy do it at any level from the lead position? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is totally different. It's totally different to be part of an offense, call in plays, be very much involved, and I'm not taking anything away from him for being that, and relating to players and all that stuff, but then to running your show. That is a different animal. So many guys, how many times do we say, guy's a good coordinator, not a great head coach. Good assistant, not a great head coach. That's a real thing. It's a different animal. And so that's where I do give Urban the edge, because this guy's done it in multiple places, just not at this level in terms of the NFL, but multiple levels of college football. And he's been able to get it done. Hey, Lance has been hanging on the line. Let's get him in on Urban Meyer. What's happening, Lance? How you doing, man?
What's going on, guys? Something I want to bring up, we were talking about culture and the winning and everything like that. We also forget some things that Urban's done in the past. If y'all don't remember, he went after Shane Matthews after that Ole Miss game on the field. All Shane said in his radio show was he thought it was kind of shameful that they weren't able to get open on one-to-one, one man coverage, and Urban went after him. And also something that was huge that really kind of lost the team, when Tim Tebow got that concussion in Kentucky, he got in the ambulance and left. And I know from a lot of rumblings early on that, Urban put, Tim up on this pedestal compared to some of the other players. And, Tim is one of the greatest college football coaches of all time. But you won't see Bill Belichick get in the ambulance, even during the height of Tom Brady. Those are some of the things you worry, after a loss, going after a radio show guy who's, Shane Matthews. Steve Spurrier came in, 4th-string quarterback. Everybody knows the loyalty Shane's had to the Gators. Saying something small, those are the kind of things that just kind of add up that keep you getting worried. And like Austin said the other day, huge thing, the boom or the bust. As a Jaguars fan, someone like the enemy, you're just not – the bust doesn't seem so big. Maybe the boom's not as possibly as big, but, when you got somebody like Trevor, I just don't know if I'm ready to roll the dice with a head coach. That's just my feelings on that.
Lance, we appreciate it, man, and there's questions about everybody. And by the way, there's no squeaky clean on you can question some of the things probably Belichick's done after games, in between games, behind closed doors, Saban's done, all the greats have done, man. I don't think, listen, nobody is trying to sell Urban Meyer as a squeaky clean guy. Yeah. That would not be correct. But he does know how to win. I don't think we've really answered Sean's question before the break. And you can jump in on this part, too. But we'll get to Sean's question about what is the identity other than just winning. The guy's won, okay, but is there more of an identity than that?
Real quick, too, with Bieniemy. I mean, Bieniemy is not perfect either, right? There was a little incident in Colorado. I think he had, a mix-up with, a campus, parking attendant. I think there was something along that line, and
there's a couple
he
of
actually,
things on the enemy.
and he got. I know he gets banned from Colorado's campus for a year for that. That's all. I mean, there's more things, but that's obviously a major thing. So Bieniemy's not perfect either. But listen, to get back to the last caller's point here with Urban Meyer, it was the very first thing that I brought up when those rumors started trickling that he could be coming to Jacksonville, and to me, it is the sideline demeanor, right? Because when I visualize Urban Meyer on the sidelines, I see a lot of yelling at players, seeing a lot of yelling at officials, and that's fine. Listen, this is the game of football. You got to be passionate. But once again, when you're dealing with a bunch of grown individuals on that sideline, you got to be careful how you talk to those guys, right? Because it's not going to fly like it does in college. You can kind of mold those guys a little more. And then to get back to the Tim Tebow point, I do agree. I don't think a lot of coaches leave that game and go with their quote-unquote star football player. And it's interesting because I talked to some former Florida Gators on that team, and they've all told me the same thing. Yes, Tebow was put in the position to be the guy, and that's what everybody thought. But there was other guys on that team that were just as big, if not bigger, leaders, especially on that defense.
Hey, I want to answer Sean's question because it goes back 10 minutes now.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer, and we'll do this with the other coaches when we come back, but Urban Meyer alone, his identity, of course, is winning, but I view him as here's what I would say to Sean on that. If Urban Meyer's the coach, he is the undoubted man of that organization, right?
Yes,
I mean, he is
has to be.
Unquestioned boss. I think he has that in him more than any other candidate could have that in this cycle right now.
There's going to be a chain of command for sure when it comes to Urban Meyer because he's always, and I don't call it dictatorship because that kind of has a negative connotation, but that's what it seems like a little bit. And by the way, Sean, like I said before, number 13, probably the best sideline number you could ever rock on the bench, man. So props to you. It doesn't get better than that.
Now, I want to evolve a little bit of his question, though, that goes back a bit. Let's take a look at some of these other guys. What would their identity be? If I say Eric Bieniemy, bam, what are you going to say? If I say Marvin Lewis, bam, what are you going to say? Arthur Smith, Raheem Morris, Robert Saleh. Like, what are you going to think about that guy who represents the Jaguars organization? Let's get to it next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 SportsCenter Update.
Happy Thursday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The stars are all aligned. The Jags have the first pick, and Trevor Lawrence has declared for the NFL draft. He even thinks the season taught him to be a better leader.
Definitely weird and interesting, and never really expected that I was going to have to miss, two of the biggest games of the year for it. So that obviously sucked, but just taught me how to lead through adversity, and how to not physically be there with my team, but try to just do everything I can to make an impact.
Before any of that, though, the Jags need a GM and a smattering of coaches, including the top spot. The Jags interviewed defending Super Bowl champion or offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy of the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday, who just so happens to be one of the guys who helped develop Patrick Mahomes. Bieniemy's dance card is awfully full, and Urban Meyer is still rumored to be at the top of the Jags wish list. This SportsCenter update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Unfiltered. Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
But you're a New York fan, if you're a Jet fan, you're also worried about maybe even if we do surround Sam Darnold with the right skill sets or the right players, maybe this is who Sam Darnold is. Maybe he never blossoms out of this. It takes a really strong personality to bear out of that and say, that's not who I am. Maybe this is who Sam Darnold is.
Keyshawn, Jay Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio, your smart speaker, or on ESPN News.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late, and that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talent Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com.
Mike policy, that's 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. How about a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles? And that comes with your purchase. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, almost everyone is approved. With 4.7 out of 5 stars and over 11,000 reviews, it's time to get more in 2021 with Arlington Toyota. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
If you love golf, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 a round, plus card fees, with the Dream 18 golf cart at great area golf courses like the Golf Club at Southampton, the Club at Osprey Cove, and Hidden Hills Golf Club. And this isn't just a golf cart. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 card for just $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
As a parent or grandparent, deep down, do you worry that your child may not be able to defend him or herself if bullied? That they may be introverted, too attached to electronic devices, and their grades are suffering? Karate America teaches 7 steps designed to ensure a lifetime of success for your child or grandchild in a safe, sanitized environment with all necessary precautions taken to prevent COVID. Please visit karateamerica.info to fill out a survey and learn if they can help your child.
Does it feel like finding clothes in your fit is impossible? Tired of feeling overwhelmed with options that just aren't right? Let the experts at Stitch Fix do the shopping for you. At Stitch Fix, we make sure each piece is hand-selected for your life. So whether you're staying home or on the go, Stitch Fix has the answer for what to wear. We make it easy to find what works for you. Signing up takes just a few minutes, and styles are delivered directly to your door. Get started today at StitchFix.com. Stitch Fix, your style delivered.
Unfiltered. Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
You actually shouldn't have never benched Mitch Trubisky when he was 3-0. You probably have put yourself in a much better place right now today.
Keyshawn, Jay Will, and Zubin, Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio, your smart speaker, or on ESPN News.
Well, I feel like one thing that Coach Meyer brings to any team or organization he'd be a part of is that winner's mentality. He does whatever he can to help his team be successful and win a game. The way he prepares his team from the summer to game time, it's all about preparing to win a game. And no matter what your role is, you want to be at maximum capacity is what he's called it, and have competitive excellence, which is being ready when your number is called. And Coach Meyer, everywhere he's gone, he's built a winning team. So I haven't talked to him specifically about being in the NFL or not, but if he chooses to do that, that'd be cool to just see him coaching again, doing what he loves to do. But we'll have to see how those chips fall.
That is Terry McLaurin, the Washington football team wide receiver from Ohio State. Of course, is off to a great start in his NFL career. Washington in the playoffs this week against Tampa. We'll talk about the playoffs coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. And let's do this exercise so we don't push this off anymore.
All right.
And Sean kind of prompted this, and I appreciate the idea because he asked it about Urban. But I more think about, okay, what about the other coaches? And we can talk about Urban too. But I'm going to list some of the coaches that are at least in the mix in Jacksonville. You would think they're the hot names out there, and maybe there's some sleepy names out there, right, that we don't even know about. That's certainly plausible, although you don't hear much about that, do you? There's really not many sneaky candidates. It doesn't feel that way. I feel like Eberflus from Indianapolis is a guy that he's been rumored in a couple of spots, but not a lot of spots. The Aaron Glenn interview in New York is one that is not on everybody's list. It's still very peculiar to me that Eric Bieniemy was not on Houston's request list. That shocks me, considering that was the favorite for him to land that job most of the season once Bill O'Brien got fired. And I think that's a fascinating part of it. The other guy that's not really a hot name anymore, and did he miss his window? Will he get another chance? I would say probably will down the road, but he certainly hurt his chances in this cycle, appears to be Josh McDaniels. He's been rumored about a little bit, but I think folks in Houston saying today that he's not going to be the guy, which assumingly, I would assume that the Houston Texans are waiting on Brian Daboll. Just to draw the dots and connect the dots. That makes a lot of sense considering they have a lot of Patriots in their front office now. Daboll connected, of course, to the New England Patriots. All right, so let's go. Brent Martineau, Austin Lancouz here on a Thursday. Let's do this. We only have a few minutes. Kind of like one word, 2 words. What would you think?
Okay.
I say Urban Meyer. People will say winner. I think culture builder. What do you say when you say Urban Meyer?
I say culture builder.
Okay. Eric Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy, I say attention to detail, great coaching tree, the safest pick.
Yeah, and I say this, and I'm relating to see like how the way I view it, and we can kind of view these things a little bit different. That's okay. Is like, what will the Jags look like when I say, oh man, that's an Eric Bieniemy coach team, or Eric Bieniemy? Oh yeah, I'm going to say the goal is the identity is the offense and the high flying offense, because I don't know if he can duplicate it, but I think he's going to try to duplicate what they have in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Here's a tricky one, man. Raheem Morris.
Oof. Can coach everything, can relate to players, and seems to have respect in the locker room. So I guess a little bit of culture as well.
Yeah. The word that comes to mind is like relatability. When Shad Khan, and I don't even know if that's a good word, but when Shad Khan said, hey, we need to find a guy who knows the fundamentals, knows football, has known the way football's been played, but also needs to be innovative and can relate to the modern athlete. Mm-hmm. I think Raheem Morris probably brings a sense of that. He's a guy in his early to mid-40s. He's been through it before. This will be the second time go-around. I think he can do that. I think he can steady things out and relate to the player. I don't know if that makes you a great winner, because I think we've seen guys that can relate to the player that haven't won before. But that's what I think of. Arthur Smith.
Ooh, Arthur Smith. I think balanced offense. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest, not sold on the pedigree of leadership.
Yeah, I don't think big like, oh, wow, what a big voice and face of the franchise. I think, James Robinson, you're going to have a good career.
Yeah.
And we're going to be physical, and we're going to know who we are. That's what I say in Arthur Smith.
Mm-hmm.
We know our identity. Robert Saleh.
I mean, obviously, it's, culture shaping young men.
Saleh, in my opinion, from a phrase standpoint, next big thing, man.
Okay.
Next big, he could have the urban presence. We just don't know it because we haven't seen it, but I feel like he can be that guy in the building.
Okay.
He could be the next Tom Coughlin in the building. And I say that because that's a strong presence. I'm not saying he's like those guys. I'm just saying that strong presence. I think he has some innovation to him as well. I love this guy, by the way. I think he checks a lot of the boxes, and I could probably say more things about Saleh, who I think he might be, than a lot of these candidates. Let's see if I got one more. I'm not doing Byron Leftwich.
You haven't mentioned my second favorite candidate right now.
Marvin Lewis?
Nope. But,
Marvin Lewis, I think, steady.
Experience, physicality in terms of his team's identity.
All right. Have we mentioned Daboll? Who's your second?
No, you haven't mentioned. Yeah, it's Daboll. We haven't mentioned Daboll.
Okay.
Daboll, I think adaptability, outside the box thinking can relate to players.
I think I say potential genius. There's a sweet science about this guy.
I like that.
But I get scared with guys that are too smart. Had a little bit of that with Jed Fish as the offensive coordinator.
You had that with Matt Patricia in Detroit.
Matt Patricia is like that a bit. You got to be careful to be too smart in sports, I think, at times. So anyway, that's interesting. We probably didn't hit everybody.
But, we got some breaking news happening here a little bit. Brent, from the Philadelphia Eagles, Jim Schwartz has announced his departure.
Oh, I want you to say a word or two on him because you played for Jim Schwartz.
All
right. We'll go bigger picture NFL, including the playoffs, when we come back. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 6.
Boss, have you heard the latest about the ding-dong doorbell cameras?
What, more employees spying on customers?
Nope.
Hackers again?
No, boss, this time they had to recall over 350,000 video doorbells.
Recall? What happened?
A bunch of them caught fire.
Whoa, unbelievable. It's one thing after another with them.
Yeah. Notice you never hear that with Safe Touch's video cameras?
Well, now you're just comparing a Bentley with a bumper car.
Exactly. I just don't understand why any homeowner wouldn't go with Safe Touch.
Yeah, their video monitoring's virtually hack-proof. Oh, and here's a bonus. Safe Touch cameras don't burst into flames.
No kidding.
It's just a good thing not everyone knows about Safe Touch, because we got to stick to the Crooks R Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Yeah, don't gotta tell me twice.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Dang it, Tom Casey.
A customer came up to me the other day to say she found herself saying exactly that.
Dang it, Tom Casey.
Because she walked into a friend's home with a Florida-rated AC system and could feel the difference. Now that's a good thing, but this particular customer had mixed feelings about replacing her not that old AC. On the one hand, she was excited about being way more comfortable in her own home. No more sticky humidity. Fortunately, she reached out and I offered her upgrade options that gave her the comfort she wanted without replacing her system or costing more than her budget. So if you've been wondering if that whole Florida-rated thing I'm always talking about is for real, yeah, it is. And if you're interested in upgrading, now is the perfect time. Because I'll let you in on a little secret. As a premium service provider, I generally don't discount. But I'll certainly do a little pencil sharpening during the slow season for customers ready to upgrade to the Griffin service experience. If that's you, call me at
griffinservice.com.
License number 1250697.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Nothing is certain except death and taxes. And your appliance is breaking down as soon as they're out of warranty. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we can't help with the first two, but we've got the third one covered. Our factory-trained and certified technicians have been repairing appliances for more than 35 years, with a 90-day warranty on parts and labor and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. For quality repair at a price that's fair, trust Atlantic Coast Appliance. AtlanticCoastAppliance.com. That's AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
For the ones standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's, oh my God, the NBA, it almost is sacrosanct.
I mean, people are on the ground ripping open testing kits.
We all have it. There's no way we all don't have it.
You knew that the direction of the entire 2020 year for the whole world just took a massive turn.
30 for 30 Podcast presents March 11th, 2020. Available now, wherever you get your podcasts.
Pro Extra is the Home Depot's free loyalty program built for pros. Members earn perks just for shopping, like new Pro Extra dollars or tool rental perks. Get exclusive benefits every day that save time and money. And here's an extra, $20 off your next in-store purchase of $200 or more, just for signing up. Want to save? Join Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Visit the Pro Desk in-store or at homedepot.com/Pro Extra for details.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Hey, welcome back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane here on a Thursday. 5 o'clock hour. Thanks for hanging out with us. By the way, I'm putting up some poll questions out there on social media and asking what would be the approval rating for coaches.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because Urban Meyer did this over the weekend, so I didn't do a new Urban Meyer one yet, and I'm slowly putting these together to give people a chance to vote on the current one. I'll continually add to it at Brent A.S. Jacks. But Urban Meyer was 55 to 45% approval rating on my poll, Austin, over the weekend. And that was like about 1,200 votes.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. How what was
55 in favor, 45%
Okay.
against. So
Gotcha.
again, we knew
Pretty
polarizing.
Yeah,
I
pretty
think,
close.
I thought it might be more 65 to 35, to be quite honest. But it was 55 to 45 on Twitter. Now that's only Twitter. This isn't like all the masses, so you got to understand that.
Well, I'm sure it's a lot of bitter Florida fans as well.
Then I asked about Eric Bieniemy today, and this just in the last, like right before the show. And over 500 votes on this one right now, 77% approval rating on Bieniemy.
Getting that Bieniemy bump.
Interesting. I just asked about Raheem Morris in the last half hour. We've got a few hundred votes on Raheem Morris, really almost up to 400. 92% say no thank you.
Was there a who question? Like, could you put like who instead of yes or no?
No,
who
I'm just going yes or no because then I'm going to go into
Well, I
Robert
bet people
Saleh.
don't really know who he is what my point was going to be.
Oh, yeah. It's just, you talk about a coach that doesn't bring the appeal, right? Raheem Morris would be that guy.
Yeah.
And so I'll ask about Saleh and some other ones along the way coming up. I want you to take it from here for a little bit.
Sure.
Jim Schwartz is done. You played for him. Thoughts on that with the Eagles? And then let's get into some NFL talk. I got to go on Action News Jacks on TV side right now, do a story for a minute or two. So I'll be back in a few minutes. You tell us about Jim Schwartz and playing for him.
Yeah, cool.
What this means for the Eagles. And also let's get into the playoff picture in the NFL.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, so be sure to stay tuned, everybody, because we got our playoff predictions and our division winner predictions when we did these during the preseason. Kuz is going to bring up our receipts here, and we're going to play those back. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure how exactly they all went down. I'm feeling a lot more confident than Brent Martineau is right now, but I can't remember exactly how those all shook out. So it's going to be fun to relive that and see how right we were with our divisional winning opponents and stuff like that. So it'll be fun coming up here probably in the next, I would say, 10 to 20 minutes or so. Brent mentioned Jim Schwartz real quick. Defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, my former coach in Detroit. And listen, he put out a really nice statement. I don't want to read the whole thing because it is pretty long-winded, but to paraphrase, basically got into saying, and once again, I'm just paraphrasing or summarizing it, that he appreciates his time in Philadelphia. 32 years as a coach in some capacity. I guess he's kind of feeling worn out about it, and he feels like he can't contribute and be at the top of his game with all the work hours that it takes. So it sounds like he'll be spending more time with his family, but obviously if the Eagles ever need anything from him, he'll be happy to help in some smaller capacity. But I think you have an example here of a guy at the defensive coordinator spot who just got wore out, right? And especially this year for the Eagles, which is definitely an underachieving year. Kind of the bad optics right now still with Doug Peterson and the whole, taking Jalen Hurts out and everything like that. So Jim Schwartz, steps away as defensive coordinator. And I get, let's be honest, in the grand scheme of things, especially here in Jacksonville, it's not that big of a deal, or should it be? But the reason why I want to bring it up real quick is because Jim Schwartz taught me a couple valuable lessons about the game of football, and more specifically the coaching aspect of football. Now, keep in mind, when I was in Detroit, I was there for 4 or 5 weeks, so I didn't really get to know Jim Schwartz a lot. I also had him at the Senior Bowl. He's our Senior Bowl coach. I'm going to say this right now. We did not have it made in the shade when it came to the Senior Bowl, because I was on the North squad. Murray State was kind of right on that sweet spot. They decided to have me go north, so be it. And the South team was the Miami Dolphins. Now, the way the practices were set up at the Senior Bowl was that the North team practiced first and the South team practiced second. So we would practice, we'd go to meetings, we'd be done for the day, go back to our hotels, watch TV, while the practices were being televised on the NFL Network. Right? So we're watching the South practices. We're watching Tim Tebow and all that stuff. And I'm watching Club Med in the Miami coaching staff of how they were doing things. Coming off of a practice with the Detroit Lions coaching staff where we're doing up-downs. We're doing gassers. You would have thought it was the first day of boot camp in the military, man. They were not messing around. They're telling it was the ultimate crash course of the NFL. Now, we ended up winning that game, maybe because of that work ethic, but that's my first impression of Jim Schwartz, right? That Senior Bowl practice, it taught me a lot of what the next level of the NFL is going to be like. You had this cocky kid coming out of a smaller school in Murray State. I thought I had it all figured out. I'm here at the Senior Bowl thinking it's going to be like the Pro Bowl is. We're taking pictures, we're taking selfies. Not even close, man. Jim Schwartz and his entire coaching staff had us working. But the main lesson that I took from Jim Schwartz, and I saw it at the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama, but I didn't get to appreciate it until I got to play for him in Detroit. And it's one of the most neglected things, I think, that I feel that gets lost in the terms of coaching of the NFL, whether you're a coordinator or a head coach. And that's the aspect of fun. Here's what I mean by that. Coaches, I say all the time, they have giant egos, right? It's their way or the highway. Jim Schwartz had a defense implemented since his time in Detroit head coaching called the Wide Nine. Now, I've talked about the Wide Nine a lot. I actually wanted the Jaguars to implement that this year a little bit with Chase on and Josh Allen, but unfortunately it didn't come to fruition. But to kind of give the base of the Wide Nine real quick, it's all systems go. The whole point of playing defense is being relentless. It's not thinking, right? We're probably not the best Wonderlic takers, but we're the most aggressive, right? Offense has to be calm, calculated, and you have to analyze. Defense, it's more of just, to me, it's the true nature of football. And that's why I love the defensive side of the ball so much, because it's ruthless aggression. It's just letting it all fly and take what the offense gives you. Right, so that's why I've always loved the defensive side of the ball and the psychology that goes with that. Well, Jim Schwartz's Wide Nine defense was the most fun I had playing a scheme in my entire career, because it was the essence of football. It was getting off the ball as fast as you could. It was not worrying about the run so much. It was getting to the quarterback, meeting your teammates in the backfield, and playing with a reckless abandonment. So many times in the NFL, especially, coaches want to outsmart themselves. And all of a sudden they want to go, all right, well, we got to have this guy drop back into coverage because this offense is doing that. We got to have this guy drop back a little bit. This guy's got to run a twist game, yada, yada, yada. It doesn't have to be that complicated. Sometimes the more simplified defenses get the better results. And that's what Jim Schwartz believed in. So, and I'm not even probably going to get in coaching. Like, I understand how much hard work it takes, and I understand just the man hours it takes, the time away from your family that it takes, and I would probably never want that life for myself and my family. But if I was going to ever get into coaching, and especially, coaching the defensive side of the ball, I might throw a couple wrinkles here or there, but that wide 9 defense might come with me because I truly think with the defensive line that Jim Schwartz ran, you still see it to this day, right? It's kind of stood the test of time. We always see offenses get better, right? We see offenses evolve. A couple years ago, you saw Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams implement that tight bunch formation, and all of a sudden that was the hot new thing, right? Then Kingsbury comes around, and all of a sudden now they're doing their thing. Obviously, Andy Reid and the weapons that they have in Kansas City, that's a thing, right? So offenses are always evolving, Jim Schwartz's wide 9 defense, while there has been some added wrinkles, it's kind of always stayed the same. And for the most part, it's always had success. Even to the point where when you think about great defenses of the past decade or the past 5 years, you think of the San Francisco 49ers and you think of Robert Saleh. One of the reasons why I like Saleh is the fact that the guy can adapt, right? And while he's tied to that Gus Bradley defense, that Todd Wash defense, I always got to bring up the wide 9 because a few years ago, Robert Saleh took on the services of defensive line coach Chris Kosirak, who was my coach in Detroit. Chris Kosirak came in under Jim Schwartz, obviously when he was in Detroit, and implemented the wide 9 in San Francisco. Why? Because they had guys like Bosa that they drafted, right? Like they had a defensive line that, listen, regardless of the scheme that you play, that 49ers defense, when they're all healthy, is going to be dominant. But they wanted to expand on that defense, and they wanted to maximize the potential of that defense, so they implemented some wide 9 wrinkles, right? And that's when the 49ers defense took another step, right? That's when now they're starting to make noise in the playoffs and everything like that, and then obviously beat the Green Bay Packers like they did just a year ago and, went to the Super Bowl. A lot of that had to do with the wide 9 defense. So once again, I can't say it enough in terms of coaching. I think that if you take anything away from Jim Schwartz, and I'll be honest, man, like as far as his personality, like I never really knew the guy like that. I'm sure he rubbed maybe some people the wrong way. I never had a problem with him. I don't know the Jim Schwartz, the personality. All I'm saying, though, is Jim Schwartz, the scheme, that guy got it. And if you look at the free agents that, he got in Philadelphia, like he got some of the top defensive linemen for some years just because they wanted to play in that scheme. So you can't forget that. Like at the end of the day, if you're a head coach or a defensive coordinator, whether it's high school, college, or the pros, don't outsmart yourselves. Keep in mind, football is about having fun. Yes, it's about winning, and winning is the top priority, and I will never say anything differently. But if you can set your guys up for success while having fun in a scheme, well, then you got something special. And to me, that's what Jim Schwartz did. So I'm not sure if he'll come back coaching anytime soon. I'm not sure if he's done. But, hey, all I'm going to say is it's probably the best scheme I ever played in. It was the most fun scheme I ever played in. And nothing but best of luck to Jim Schwartz down the line with whatever he does. Kuz, we got Brent Martineau back yet, or are we still waiting on Brent with his video stuff?
I'm back.
Oh, what's up, man?
It's called TV.
What did I say? New stuff?
Yeah.
Well, it's for the new. Hey, it's Action News Jacks. Last time I checked.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
It is TV stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, it's interesting. The story I did was Trinity Christian Academy, and they suspended a coach that was a wide receivers coach on the football team for his comments made on social media yesterday in regard to everything that was happening in Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow.
And it's not the first thing. I saw something else cross.
Oh, yeah. The University of Chattanooga, Tennessee Chattanooga.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was the one. And it just, obviously yesterday's events were surreal and unreal at the same time. But it also leads to a lot of conversation and social media and emotion and the rest. And people get caught up and wrapped up and say things, and depending on where you're at and who's reading it and what position you hold, it can be very consequential, you know. So we actually don't know the person's name, but as a first-year wide receivers coach at Trinity Christian, and ironically comes on a day where I think in Class 3A, Verlin Dormany and his staff were named Coach of the Year in the state of Florida for winning the state championship. So just an interesting note on that. But I think it just brings to light everybody so emotionally charged yesterday. After watching those events, and again, continued coverage of those events and what's happening in D.C. on 104.5 WOKV on the radio side and CBS 47 and Fox 30 on the TV side of things. Here, we're talking sports, we're talking NFL playoffs, and this is going to be a wild weekend, man. Saturday, 3 games, Sunday, 3 games, Monday, the national championship game in college football. But are we about to tell on ourselves? Does Coos have it ready?
Well, I want to give you guys a tease of just one of the clips I found while going through it.
All right, hit us with it, man.
Coos,
Sleeper. Put on a button. Do something with it. This is crazy. That was my response to one of Brent's picks?
Yep.
Coos, put on a button. Do something with it. This is crazy.
It was
actually, a sleeper?
It was one of his wild card picks.
Okay.
I wonder if it was the Giants then. I mean, do we have time to go through this whole thing right now? We're taking a break, then coming back, Coos. What do you want to do here?
We got like 6-7 minutes. We can carry it into the next segment if not.
All right, cool. Well, let's go ahead and set the scene a little bit, Brent. You know, as we always do, we're gamesmen, right? Sometimes we like to put some some friendly wagers on the line just to say, hey, let's see who's smarter, let's see who's better. Obviously, the whole bet between the Jaguars and the Patriots, who has more wins, I think we know how that one ended for everybody. The one with Ben Roethlisberger and Baker Mayfield, that one's still up for debate. We're not going to stop the count just yet, but we'll see what happens with that. But obviously, a tradition we do every single year is we give our predictions of who's going to win each division. And I think Coos has the audio now. I'm not sure what the date was. Obviously, during the preseason, during training camp, we gave our predictions, and here we go, I guess.
Yeah, so I have each division separated out. So we can start at, I guess, AFC East.
I like that. Brent, is that cool with you, AFC East?
Let's do it.
Or should we start in the West? East.
Go ahead.
Right.
East. Okay, here we go.
AFC East real quick. Listen, to me, it comes down to 2 teams. The New England Patriots, the Buffalo Bills. I truly am a Josh Allen believer. Now, maybe not the good Josh Allen, the bad Josh Allen, but I am still a bad Josh Allen believer. You add Stephon Diggs as a weapon. Solid offensive line, great defense. The Bills Mafia is not going to be there in full effect, obviously, so that's a detriment. But I think right now, with the Miami Dolphins still rebuilding, New York Jets are the New York Jets, and New England, we're not quite sure on them, so I have the Buffalo Bills winning the AFC East.
I think this is one of the hardest divisions to predict because I think all the teams could stink, and I think all could be, well, not all would be really good, but like Buffalo, New England obviously has a chance. Like the Jets are starting to piece something together. Their roster doesn't look it.
Hey, Brent, do what now? Do what now?
Like the Jets are starting to piece something together.
All right, go on.
Listen, I've been a Jets fan, by the way. It wasn't just the last 2 weeks. I've been a Jets fan for a while, people.
All right, continue, Goose.
Roster doesn't look it, but they got a quarterback. If he takes the next step, could you see him doing more than people expect? And the Dolphins spent so much money on the defense. What if Tua does come in and play? You know, Fitzpatrick's good for some wins. And then what if Tua does come in? So it's an interesting division. But because I have a bet on the line and the Jags are getting more wins than the Patriots with Cam Newton or without him, I'm taking the Bills reluctantly.
Welcome. 1 for 1, Brent.
Yeah, we did a good job there. I was wondering. I was like, gosh, what did I do crazy in this one?
Dude, it's nerve-wracking because I haven't heard this either. I wanted to be surprised.
All right,
so
go
I have
ahead.
no idea where this is going to go. AFC North, I got Baltimore. It could be a wild card team in here as well. I think Pittsburgh's not a team to sleep on. Cleveland, is this the year Cleveland turns it around? Not sure, but give me Baltimore, man.
What a division.
Go and give me the sure thing.
I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers did what they did without Ben all year.
Correct.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, wow. Okay, beating out Baltimore. All right. Okay. I guess it wasn't a sure thing.
Yeah.
Props to you. You called it.
11-0 start. Had to hang on for dear life. But 11-0 start.
That's a good call. Nicely done, Brent.
Carry on.
Yep. He's feeling cocky already. AFC South, Tennessee.
I know where I'm going. Indy.
Okay. I don't want to dwell on it for too long. Let's go, Brent.
Dang it.
And just like that, I'm back in the ball game, baby.
Man, that was close. That was close.
Didn't have to dwell on it too long. Tennessee, let's go.
All right, next up.
AFC West, go ahead and give me Kansas City.
I really compare Kansas City or the Chargers, but I just don't like the Tyrod Taylor.
Wait. Are you about to pick the Chargers here?
I know. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, did I go off the rails on Kansas City? Like, I know I don't have them going to the Super Bowl. Did I not even pick them to win the division,
here's
you
the thing.
moron?
You talk I think Tyrod Taylor's coming up here, and you talk worse about him than, like, you're...
I didn't. I took that.
Did he talk about Tyrod Taylor?
He did talk about Taylor for a while.
Brent Martineau is like LeBron James when he, like, gives compliments to people on Twitter. He's the exact opposite when it comes to Tyrod Taylor.
But
like,
was
just
I wrong?
tirades.
Was
Let's
I wrong?
Let's see. Let's go into it.
I mean, even the doctor believes it.
Give me Kansas City.
I really compare Kansas City or the Chargers, but I just don't like the Tyrod Taylor thing. I've been on the Chargers bandwagon a while. Well, we both take the Chiefs.
There we go.
Okay,
so
took
I'm
the Chiefs.
3-1.
I'm 3-1 as well. Let's go.
Okay. All right. We're pretty good.
Yeah. NFC East. To me, it comes down to two teams. The Cowboys and the Eagles. Hey, I was waiting. You know what? I'm not a Dallas believer, man. Go ahead and give me the Philadelphia Eagles.
Really?
Yeah. This is going to be one of my my sleepers, I think. Eagles in the East. Fly, Eagles, fly. Or cry, Eagles, cry. We'll see.
You opened the door for me, so I'm taking the Cowboys.
Sure. Take that low-hanging fruit.
Hey, by the way, we weren't way off. Everybody had a chance to win that damn division.
That's a good point. Absolutely. Okay, so we're both 3-2. NFC North. All right, Green Bay fans, Mom, turn off the show. Minnesota Vikings by a landslide. Oh no! Oh no! Pause it. But no. Hey, next. Minnesota Vikings by a landslide. Oh no!
Coos, what did I say?
Hey, Minnesota Vikings, not even close.
I mean, the Packers were 13-3, man.
Yeah. Minnesota Vikings.
They have Jordan Love now.
Yeah, they have Jordan Love. They still have Devontae Adams. They got that guy from Boston College that has, like, the big legs. Hey, Brent, Minnesota by a landslide. Oh, wow. You know what I'm talking about, right? That guy is everywhere. Yeah. A.J. Dillon. Minnesota by a landslide.
Why is Kirk Cousins going to disappoint? I feel like
Did you come with me on this one?
Packers.
Oh! Hey! Everybody at the pickle, hang this jersey up at the pickle. Hang this jersey. Brent Martineau at the pickle in Wisconsin.
Oh,
Austin
wow.
Lane hates the Packers.
There
He
was-
hates everybody in Wisconsin.
There was some audio after that where Austin did say if Brent gets a pickle endorsement before he does, he would be upset.
Oh, yeah, you better believe it. And you know what? Brent very well might get it now because I was wrong. Okay. It was not a sure thing. Kirk Cousins, you let me
by the
down
way,
a little bit.
As much as we've mentioned the pickle on this show,
Yeah.
have we ever reached out to those guys?
We
Can
have
they at least
not.
put the damn show on in the bar or whatever it is? I mean,
Brent, like, it's on Central Time, so it's from 2 to 5. So you're absolutely right. People are there drinking right now as we speak.
what else is
People
there
are
to do in Wisconsin
exactly.
in January?
People are going hard right now for happy hour. You better believe it. Let's sponsor the happy hour horn at the pickle. NFC South real quick. Listen, I said this before on the show today.
Yeah,
you got Atlanta, you got Tampa Bay, and you got New Orleans. You know who my Super Bowl team is going to be, so I got to go with New Orleans. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm with New Orleans, too.
Okay. Wow, Brent, you really sold that one.
I know. Well, it's
5-2 for you? Are you 5-2 right now?
I'm 5-2.
I'm
You're
4-3.
4-3?
4-3.
All right. It's a big one coming up.
Why do I feel like the 49ers are going to drop back a little bit? I'm taking the Seahawks.
All right. Seahawks it is.
What do you got?
Well, I said Seattle.
Oh, you did too?
Yeah.
6-2 with division winners. Why not put some money on that?
Do we do wild cards as well, Coos, or not?
We do. So I have all of that. That's about a minute.
Okay.
That's all right. Go, Coos, go ahead.
Yeah,
Whatever.
we need these things. We got to do
Coos,
it.
let's take a break, Coos. We'll hear it when we come back.
Okay.
So our wild card pick, is there 3 of them, Coos, or 2 of them?
You did 3 for each.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I can still come back and beat Brent Martineau.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I forget. I have no idea what I even did. So we'll talk a little bit about the playoffs, how we see it shaking out. We got tomorrow to talk more about it, too. But first, it's just about being right or wrong. It's bragging rights on the line. When we come back, Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690.
Sleeper. Put on a button. Do something with it. This is crazy.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690. Mild this evening, then a period of rain as some showers move from west to east. Will be gone by morning, though, as temperatures drop into the upper 40s. Partly to mostly cloudy, breezy, and much cooler Friday with a sprinkle or two and highs only in the upper 50s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where you get the lowest diamond price guaranteed or your money back.
Hi, it's Brian Kilmeade for Phil Aiken Home Team Keller Williams Realty. I'm talking with Greg and Gary about their recent home sale. Why did you call Phil Aiken?
We called Phil Aiken because we had heard that his team will sell your house quickly and for more money than any of the other realtors in town.
Tell us what happened.
Phil Aiken and his A-team, they will make the process very easy. Sold in 4 days and got over asking price.
Well, that's great. So how did you think they were able to sell it so fast?
Because Phil has the buyers and they have the team that can get the job done quickly and stress-free.
What would you tell a friend who is looking for a real estate agent to sell their home?
Would I recommend Phil Aiken and the A-team? Absolutely.
Well, the results speak for themselves, right? Phil Aiken and his team have the systems and will even guarantee to sell your home in writing or buy it himself.
Yes, we got better results than we expected.
Thanks, Gary. Friends, hire the agent with the buyers looking to buy a home right now. Call Phil Aiken. Call 500-PHIL. That's 500-PHIL, or visit philhasthebuyers.com.
In the know, I'm Smitha Rao. As the coronavirus pandemic continues throughout the fall and winter, overlapping with flu season, Dr. Eduardo Sanchez, American Heart Association Chief Medical Officer for Prevention, says that getting a flu vaccine is more important than ever.
The flu is serious and can even cause death. If you get the flu right now, you may need to be hospitalized in an already overwhelmed healthcare system. Get your flu shot and stay out of the hospital due to the flu.
It is important for everyone to get a flu vaccine, but especially important for seniors, children, pregnant women, and people with underlying risk factors such as heart disease, stroke, and diabetes.
The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and you can get it at places that are taking extra safety measures like your doctor's office, pharmacy, or even community pop-up centers. As with COVID-19, wearing a mask, washing your hands often, and social distancing helps to prevent the spread of the flu.
For more, go to heart.org/flu prevention.
It's Wild Card Weekend, and you can follow all the action at betonline.net. For the first time in league history, 6 games are on the board during the opening round of the playoffs. Feature games Saturday include Indy at Buffalo and LA at Seattle. On Sunday, Chicago visits the Big Easy, while divisional rivals Cleveland and Pittsburgh square off. Check out all the action this week at betonline.net as the journey to Tampa gets underway. Always available online or your mobile device. Visit betonline.net today. Bring the game home at betonline.net.
If you love golf or know somebody who does, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 per round plus cart fees with a Dream 18 golf card at great area golf courses like St. John's Golf and Country Club, Amelia River Golf Club, and Eagle Landing Golf Club. And this isn't just a golf card. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 card for $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
Do you know that there are 7 steps that can help to ensure a lifetime of success for your child or grandchild, even though they may have trouble controlling their anger or lack of focus or respect for others? Karate America takes pride in the tens of thousands of children they've impacted. Imagine your child or grandchild showing and earning respect, setting and achieving goals, and making good grades. Visit karateamerica.info to see if Karate America's leadership program is a good fit for your child.
Nothing is certain except death and taxes. And your appliances breaking down as soon as they're out of warranty. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we can't help with the first 2, but we've got the third one covered. Our factory-trained and certified technicians have been repairing appliances for more than 35 years, with a 90-day warranty on parts and labor and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. For quality repair at a price that's fair, trust Atlantic Coast Appliance. AtlanticCoastAppliance.com. That's AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
The hardest part of any goal is oftentimes getting started. All month long, we're going to help you get started on the path for a happier you for free. To hear from our experts and check out upcoming shows from personal health to your home's health, visit GetStartedJax.com.
We are the entertainment you love and information that shapes your day. We are your lifeline. We are your companion. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
My NFL MVP is Russell Wilson halfway through the season. Plus, like Kyler Murray, has impressed me most, Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Brent Martineau.
This is an email. Why is WWE Wrestling not being shown on Friday night?
Austin Lane.
Thank you very much. Read it right now. Read it right now. This
I
could be
just
for me.
did. Why is WWE? That's it. That's
it?
why I thought. I don't know. I mean, Ronan's only 5. I don't know how many sentences he can make. Smart kid.
Somebody might have proofread it for him.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Cleveland-Pittsburgh was always the game. And to have to go now to Heinz Field and play there, I mean, how cool is that? How cool is that for Cleveland to go into into your big brother stadium and see if you can figure out a way to beat them? Because they are one of the most well-coached teams in the NFL. I love Mike Tomlin to death, and I love this rivalry. And I couldn't be happier. Could not be happier for Browns fans.
That is Louis Riddick. Could he be the next general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars? Things have seemingly quieted on that front, but interviews done a while back. Let the process play out, and we'll see what happens with Louis Riddick. Some people really like the idea of that. I think we've talked about Riddick before on the show. I think we don't mind the idea of it, but also have some reservations. The GM front is seemingly totally different to handicap than the head coaching front, and I'm just being as honest as I can with you. And I think if people really think they have a handle on the GM job from our point of view, I think they're lying to you.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I really do. I think they're blowing smoke because it's just a tough thing to really know what to look for. And as I have said for a while now, and I think a lot of people are on board with this line of thinking, and not necessarily because I said it, by the way. I think other people probably have mentioned it too and gave reasoning like we have on the show. I do think this centers around the head coach first. And I think that also could depend on who you pick, but I think it centers on the head coach first here in Jacksonville. And Shad Khan did say on Monday he'd like to ideally announce them both at the same time. Mm-hmm. But I still believe the head coach is coming first and then has a big say on who that GM will be. So that's Louis Riddick. All right, let's get back to our picks. I'm 6-2, 5-3 for you on division winners. Before the season, that's not half bad.
Yeah, I mean, listen, 6-2 sounds a lot better than 5-3. Let's be honest. But it's not bad.
All right, so Kuz, now we go to our wild card, and this could get iffy. Let's go.
All right, so now we got the wild card teams real quick.
But we have 3 this year.
3 teams in the conference. Go ahead and give me, for the AFC, got to give me Pittsburgh. Got to give me New England. And go ahead and give me, I got to go with the Colts. Oh, let's go. Let's go. That's 2 teams in the playoffs. I'll take that.
It's a tough one.
That is pretty good.
It's a really tough one. I'm going to take the Ravens. I'm going to take the Browns actually sneaking in.
Oh, he's got it.
And I'm going to take the Titans because I hope it doesn't happen.
Wow.
So I'm either right.
I mean, you got 3 for 3. I mean, obviously the Titans won the division, but you can't. They're going to the playoffs. So
you know what's crazy about this segment
sir.
right now? Because I'm at home, I cannot tell, like when you're talking and you're playing actually the audio and when you're on. So like that last time I was like quiet. That was you live like right now, and I can't even tell because
my bad.
It's kind of funny. No, it's just funny that it's how much. It's not like, hey, I got this news for you. Your voice hasn't changed since then.
Right? Hey, at least I'm consistent, right? And by the way, Brent, you're 9-2 right now. This is a landslide victory.
You're not bad, right? You're 7-4.
7-4.
Okay, that's
Could be
pretty
better.
good. Now I might get a little topsy-turvy in the NFC.
Well, judging by the soundbite coming out, something's going to happen.
So I'm either right.
Speaking in a non-existence.
I'm either happy either way.
I hear you.
That's a happy and you know it.
Check this out now. My NFC teams. 3 of them. Tampa, wild card. I got to go with San Francisco still. And then Dallas would be the logical one. But wait a minute. Smell that, Brent? Small opportunity. Small opportunity to make some money here. I smell opportunity to make a precedent right here. Got to roll with my guy, Kyler Murray. Arizona Cardinals going to the playoffs, baby. Let's go.
I'm going to surprise you with my last pick, so I won't do
Pause
it right.
it real quick.
Oh, you were close, man.
Hey,
they
never heard of him.
Failed you.
Hey, Kyler Murray, I never heard of him. All right, I don't know who that guy is anymore. Please continue.
So what's that? 8-6?
It's 8 and not good. Don't say it like that. Yeah.
Now, but I'm going to take Minnesota. I'm going to take San Francisco.
Let's go.
Which means old Tom doesn't make the playoffs in my book.
Oh, I didn't even know. Yeah, okay.
You know who does instead?
We going to Atlanta?
The New York Football Giants in a sleeper.
Put on a button. Do something with it. This is crazy. So for the record, I'm not sure if you won the game or not because you said that the New York Giants were going to win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's like a -6 right there. That's got to be a -6.
By the way, the Philadelphia Eagles, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. If the Philadelphia Eagles just play the game with integrity, play for 60 minutes, who cares about Nate Sudfeld and the work he's put in? Play for the future with Jalen Hurts. Then the Giants make the postseason, and my sleeper pick comes through. At 6-10.
I mean, hey, it doesn't matter. They still would have came through. I'll be honest, man. Brent Martineau was setting a precedent in picks. Like, he was unconscious. And then all of a sudden that NFC wild card came around, and it's back to reality for Brent Martineau.
I was like the Jags in the AFC Championship game. I mean, that was the final 10 minutes.
And then that fourth quarter hit.
I sat on the football 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Miles Jack wasn't down.
Oh, man.
3rd and 18, I was playing defense right there, that final 3.
But you're still successful, though. You beat me, man.
Who did I miss then? So, like, if I picked most of the division winners. I think I got all the division. No, I didn't get Washington.
Yeah.
So then who else made the playoffs? So we both missed Chicago.
We did.
We missed the Rams.
Yep.
It was like in our blood that we couldn't pick the Rams.
I know.
Right?
It was like predestined. And then
Tampa.
Then you missed Tampa. Yeah.
Yeah. I that's where I shuffled around. I
Sure.
put the Giants instead of Tampa. And by the way, now, like, we had this conversation, I think if you date back like 3 weeks, so I think we were ahead of this train, and I know it's a popular opinion right now, but when we did sleepy picks to go to the Super Bowl, I told you Tampa had not hit stride yet.
Correct, yes.
And now they look like they're hitting stride.
Yeah.
And they are the one team to me, and I think you can actually make this case a little bit with New Orleans because they felt disjointed all year because of Drew Brees injury, Michael Thomas injury, Alvin Kamara stuff. I think you can make the case for the Saints, who I think we both have as a Super Bowl pick.
Correct.
And the Tampa Bay Bucks as two teams that I would say, if you run down all the teams, that they really haven't peaked.
Yeah.
They like, you can't even make a case that they've peaked. And so I would look out for those two teams, obviously, in the NFC. I think you could say the Colts played good ball for a while. The Titans have played a lot of good ball. The Bills, the Chiefs have played a lot of good ball. Washington's whatever. I think Seattle played their better ball probably early in the season. Who we missing? Green Bay's played excellent all year.
Well, of course you're going to say that because you're getting endorsed by the pickle, so you got to talk about Green Bay a little bit.
So I really believe that, though, right? Of 14 teams, you could argue that Washington's a little bit better than their record because Haskins was in there a bit. I don't buy that much. I think they're not very good on offense.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do think that Tampa is peaking at the right time, and I wonder about New Orleans. I just don't know if they can gather themselves. They've been so out of whack, it feels like, all year long. But keep an eye on it because it'll be the perfect time to start to peak.
Biggest question mark where the game could go either way? Do you think it's going to be the Ravens-Tennessee Titans game?
Oh, man, I tell you, I think there's a lot of them.
And I know there's a lot. I'm saying you got to pick one because, like, to me, here's where I'm at right now. And we talk about peaking. Like, the Ravens obviously have found a new gear. Right now, all of a sudden, Lamar Jackson's running more. Their defense is playing a very high brand of football. They look good. And with the Tennessee Titans, yes, their defense is still questionable, but keep in mind what happened when they played the Ravens the first game, this year when they played each other. And keep in mind what happened last year with Vrabel. Like, Vrabel seems to have Lamar Jackson's number for whatever reason. And now you got Derrick Henry, who's hitting stride once again, looks unstoppable.
Let's think about this. I don't know if I can give you a sure answer because I think there are 4 games that you could argue what you're talking about.
Okay.
In terms of absolute coin toss, you can convince me if I had $100 to put it on this team or that team.
Okay.
Seattle and the Rams.
Okay.
Bills and Colts. And I know I'm more of a believer in the Bills than I'm in the Colts than everybody else, but I firmly believe the Colts are a pretty good team if Rivers doesn't make mistakes. And they've got their running back's playing the best he's played all year. Their defense is one of the best in the NFL.
So, I was going to say real quick. So, the Bills and Colts, I see where you're coming from. I got the Bills all day, though. But here's the thing. The Rams-Seahawks. I'm so predispositioned to say, the Seahawks got this easily, right? Like, when the playoffs come around, it's the Seahawks. It's very dangerous because, like, look at the Rams, man. Like, they have a lot of talent, and they have probably the best defense in the NFL. Usually we're talking about the Seahawks defense. Now it's the Rams defense. That game's a good one, too, Brent. Good call.
Well, and it's not only that. It's like it feels like ever since, remember midseason, the Seattle Seahawks said, hey, we really want to run the ball and play better defense?
Yeah.
Well, ever since they did that, it feels like their offense is not anemic, but it's just – it's not as like it doesn't dictate ball games anymore.
No, I mean, let's be honest. Like all of a sudden the Russell Wilson MVP talks just faded away.
The over/under in that game I'm looking at is 42.
Wow.
Seattle's offense. I know Rams defense is good, but 42? So anyway, the other one, I think the Steelers and Browns is a tough game to pick.
Yeah.
The Steelers are not playing good football overall in the last month. That's plain as day. And I think Cleveland's hungry, although they now have some problems with COVID. And I agree, Titans and Ravens is a really hard. The Ravens right now are peaking.
Yeah.
It's a matter of can they continue that. And Tennessee has been so good. That's a good call. I'm going to have to think on that. I'm going to have to sleep on it. I'm going to have to sleep on, see who I pick for tomorrow. When we do some of our picks for the weekend. But those are some fantastic football games. I think Chicago's a tough one to find a way for them to win, and I think Washington, it's tough to find a way for them to win. Outside of that, those other 4 games should be blockbusters over the weekend. Hey, when we come back, there's a mock draft out.
Yeah.
Okay, is it Trevor Lawrence? I'm going to say yes, it is.
Shock your mock already? Yeah.
But then what, and where do the other quarterbacks go? Let's discuss it when we come back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Thursday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The stars are all aligned. The Jags have the first pick, and Trevor Lawrence has declared for the NFL draft. He even thinks the season taught him to be a better leader.
Definitely weird and interesting, and never really expected that I was going to have to miss 2 of the biggest games of the year for it. So that obviously sucked, but just taught me how to lead through adversity, and how to not physically be there with my team, but try to just do everything I can to make an impact.
Before any of that, though, the Jags need a GM and a smattering of coaches, including the top spot. The Jags interviewed defending Super Bowl champion or offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy of the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday, who just so happens to be one of the guys who helped develop Patrick Mahomes. Bieniemy's dance card is awfully full, and Urban Meyer is still rumored to be at the top of the Jags wish list. This Sports Center update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Hey everyone, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 10 different platforms. But if you missed the show, you missed this. The Jags have 2 opt-outs. How big are these losses in your opinion?
Lorente McCray is different to me. This is a guy who's going on his 7th season here in the NFL. If you have the honor to wear the C in that locker room, it means that you're a leader. You have some sort of influence on that team.
Subscribe to the podcast and check the show out on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Get the podcast daily. All you have to do is search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Happy holidays from the team at CGC Water. This holiday season, our gift to you is clean drinking water. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Right now, CGC Water is offering a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener like the one we have at our home. If you're still not filtering your water, you are the filter. Schedule your free water test today and get peace of mind knowing your family's water is safe water. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Remember now, this is a limited time offer. A free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. Special holiday financing available for a limited time with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia, CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer. Have a happy and safe holiday season.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
You probably played this as a kid, especially if you had siblings. Put a kink in the garden hose when your brother's trying to use it, then once the nozzles turn towards him, let it go. It's more fun when you're the older brother. The thing is, even a slight kink will reduce water flow to a trickle, and Flex Duct is like that too. Now you might be thinking,
it can't be that screwed up, can it? I can still feel air coming out of the vents.
And without working in air conditioning my whole life, I might think the same thing. Unfortunately, it can and often is that screwed up. Kinked and spaghetti ductwork, hairpin turns. It's why our techs take pictures. And just because airflow is coming out of the vent doesn't mean it's adequate airflow. It's why Griffin service techs measure airflow and static pressure rather than just feeling with their hands and guessing. Because without adequate airflow, performance turns into turd buckets. The good news, it doesn't take that much work to dramatically improve airflow and comfort. The better news, from now until February, you can get a deal on fixing your ductwork. But only if you call
GriffinService.com.
License number 1250697.
In these unprecedented times, nurses on the front lines continue to deliver treatment and care under some extreme medical and environmental conditions. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar & Levine. If you are a nurse or other licensed healthcare professional and currently face an investigation or complaint that threatens your professional license, let us help you protect your rights. Call us at 904-600-4000 for a consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Nothing is certain except death and taxes. And your appliances breaking down as soon as they're out of warranty. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we can't help with the first two, but we've got the third one covered. Our factory-trained and certified technicians have been repairing appliances for more than 35 years, with a 90-day warranty on parts and labor and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. For quality repair at a price that's fair, trust Atlantic Coast Appliance. AtlanticCoastAppliance.com. That's AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and school just isn't for you, earn while you learn by enrolling in the Clara White Mission Workforce Training, designed for 16 to 24-year-olds and no experience necessary. National certifications include culinary arts, OSHA, HAZWOPER, forklifting, environmental training, and more. These programs are customized for low income and disadvantaged. Make your way to the Clara White Mission Training Center at 613 West Ashley Street. Call 904-354-4162 or visit clarawhitemission.org.
We want you to be part of the 690 Syndicate. We'd love to get all of you to help us this holiday season as we support the Ronald McDonald House in Jacksonville with their Deck the Doors campaign. You can help bring a smile to a family's face this holiday season. The 690 Syndicate has a donation page. Thank you for joining hands with the 690 Syndicate to make a difference here in Jacksonville.
I had a list of places that I wanted to go. Gruden and Bruce Allen were down in Tampa, and so I really thought that was a no-brainer. And then I thought, okay, if I don't go to Tampa, Jacksonville and what they were doing at that time with their defense. I mean, they had a stout defensive line. Mathis was one of the corners there. I think Donovan Darius was there. Stroud. Henderson, they had some studs, and I was like, man, you know what? This is where I want to be. And I remember them telling my agent, oh, no, we're not looking for a corner right now. I was like, I know they need another corner, you know. And I think the very next week after that, they brought in, I think it was Brian Williams, who played for the Minnesota Vikings or something like that. And I was crushed, man.
That is Charles Woodson, who likely will be getting to the Hall of Fame in a month. Super Bowl weekend finalist, along with Peyton Manning, Tony Vaselli, Leroy Butler, and others. And how about that? In a Jim Trotter
That's crazy.
Podcast, or they do it in video form. So he was on with Jim Trotter and others. And the fact that Charles Woodson wanted to come down here to Tampa or Jacksonville, and the Jags were like, nah, no thanks. Now, I have no idea at the time what year exactly that would have been, so what time their money would situation was and all that stuff. But, my gosh, in hindsight, it's like, are you kidding me? They could have had Rasheed Mathis and Charles Woodson. Rasheed Mathis, maybe one of the most underrated players in Jags history, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And Charles Woodson? To go along with a defense that was already pretty darn good.
Yeah, and listen, like you said, I'm not sure what the money situation was, but if you had a chance at Charles Woodson, I feel like you do whatever you got to do to get that guy, because look how it panned out for him then, right? I mean, he went on to be one of the greatest of all time in his position.
Yeah, and you know, it got me thinking a little bit, Austin, how many times does that happen? How many times has that happened?
Okay.
Like earlier in the show, we talked about Olivier Vernon, right? Jags were hot on Olivier Vernon. The Giants were too. Giants won out. They got him. It actually, I think, benefits the Jags in the long run because Vernon has been good but not great and certainly not worth the contract that he signed, in my opinion, if you look at it overall. Now that he's with Cleveland, so he's already on to another team. But how many times have either the Jags pursued somebody and they were this close to and it could have made a big difference? And how many times has a player agent otherwise tried to say, hey, we'd like to be there, or what do you think? And management has said, nah, we're okay there right now. and like this situation, you miss out on a guy like Charles Woodson. How many times has that happened? Do you ever remember it? Do you ever remember any stories of the playing days, Kansas City, Detroit, here in Jacksonville, of a guy that you thought like I would imagine like if there were rumors at the time, let's just say, that Charles Woodson wanted to come to Jacksonville and social media existed the way it does now and all that stuff, like I would think a locker room of defense would be pretty fired up about something like that.
I mean, come on, man. Without a doubt. Like, even at that time, he was still one of the best, right? And then I think he went to Green Bay after that, right? And then
that's
Oakland,
where he ended up in Green Bay.
And then Oakland, yeah. I mean, and you saw what he did in Green Bay. Like, yeah, you would have been ecstatic. Twitter would have been a buzz. To answer your question, like, did I miss out on anybody that I know that was supposed to come? Like, I mean, you gotta remember where I'm coming from. Like the latter part of my career in Jacksonville, we didn't have really a winning record, so we weren't really the sexiest job to go check out. So we didn't really have a lot of guys there. And then in Kansas City, Chicago, and Detroit, nothing really comes to my mind. So no, I can't really answer that question.
Yeah, I don't know if it happens a lot or not, quite frankly. I don't think people would admit it in hindsight if they missed out on a guy.
Yeah.
We know of people that the Jags, like a Brandon Marshall, who lets the Jags let go when he goes and has a really nice career with the Denver Broncos. I'm talking about the linebacker, Brandon Marshall. So we know that kind of stuff exists. But I do believe you get lucky sometimes, too. And Olivier Vernon is not something somebody points to around here, but it was the Giants and the Jags, as I recall it. And they got, in my opinion, they got a little fortunate there that they didn't get him, because I think I forget the exact timing, but that paves the way for potentially a Calais Campbell to get here, or the drafting of Yannick Ngakoue, or the dominoes that fall after. And I think the Jags actually won that part. So that's
did Tebow ever say he wanted to come to Jacksonville? I mean, obviously he's from Jacksonville, but do you want to play for the Jaguars?
Well, there was that. It was the Jags and the Jets, tied together.
Yeah,
and that was.
I'm just wondering if he ever said, like, yeah, I want to
well,
play
he
for the
was
Jaguars.
deciding between the two, and he chose the Jets.
Gotcha.
I mean, that was more his decision.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I mean, basically he did, and he made the wrong decision in essence, because the Jets, the story is they basically lied to him. And they said, hey, we'll guarantee you that you play this, this, and this. And the Jags were trying to be up front, say, hey, we can't guarantee you that you're going to do this and this and this.
Well, hey, at the end of the day, though, at least he made so much more endorsement money from the Jets.
Very good. Yeah, Tebow probably couldn't have made that much endorsement money if he was like Tebow would not be as big as if he had gone to the Jags instead of the Jets. You're exactly right. I mean, that just wouldn't have been who would Tim Tebow who like if he had played for the Jags. Like,
never heard of him.
Never heard of that guy.
Never heard of him. Yeah.
All right, we got a mock draft, man.
Yeah.
What do you think? Trevor Lawrence, number 1, according to Todd McShay. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Penei Sewell, number 2, which means they stay with Sam Darnold
for another year.
Are you for that? We got to go quick through this.
Real quick.
Talk more at length.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing it. I mean, let's see how these quarterbacks pan out. But I think if I'm a new coach and I'm going to rebuild this whole thing because New York's a mess as well, it's a dumpster fire, I feel like you bring in some new blood and you bring a new quarterback in. But
all right, Dolphins, Devontae Smith, number 3 overall. I think that's a little bit of a reach. Falcons go Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase to the Lions. I really like that name. Kyle Pitts in the top 10 to Carolina. Let's see. I'm going to throw some more names at you. Sean Wade, 13th overall to Ohio State. To the Chargers. He's from Ohio State, of course, from Jacksonville. Justin Fields to the Patriots at 15. Drops all the way to 15.
Yep.
I don't see that happening. I really don't. Trey Lance, 19 to Washington. Mac Jones, 21 to Indy. I could see that. Davion Nixon, a defensive tackle, Iowa to Jacksonville at number 22.
He's from Kenosha, Wisconsin. He's a Kenosha killer.
Oh, is that your guy? Did I say his name correct?
Yeah, that's right. No, he's not my guy, but yeah.
Okay.
No, but he's from Iowa, but he went to high school in Wisconsin.
Yeah. The defensive tackle is a need. It would depend on what they did in free agency.
Yeah. Hey, well, I'm just going to say, too, real quick. Obviously, the mock drafts are right around the corner, right? And Shock Your Mock Season 2 /remix is coming around the corner as well. If anybody does not put Trevor Lawrence as the top pick, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to read it on the air, and I'm going to call the authorities.
You won't allow for Fields. Okay.
No, I'm going to actually call the authorities, and they'll take care of it.
Hey, Live Local Loud coming up next. They've got a good question relative to the Jags, so check them out. Jerry Daniels, Nicky Football. It's on the way on ESPN 690. I'll see you on TV tonight, CBS 47, Fox 30. We'll do some picks for the NFL coming up tomorrow at 3 o'clock on ESPN 690. Have a good night.
Do you know a child who is deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or visually impaired? The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine is a fully accredited, tuition-free state public school that gives children an edge for a lifetime of success. FSDB is nationally recognized for its educational services designed for students